Hello, welcome to episode 70 of Directly to You, a Nintendo podcast by fanatixfour, youtube.com/fanatixfour. In fact, I'm AJ, and I'm joined by Parker.
Hello, I am Parker.
Yes, he is. And before Parker says anything else, I'm going to do housekeeping stuff. And there's some new stuff to this, guys. There's some new
Oh, you're right. There is. That's exciting.
If you want to support this channel monetarily and help us make cooler stuff more often, which we'll also get to later, you can become a member at youtube.com/fanatixfour for $4.99. You get exclusive emotes, gaming time with us, loyalty badges, free Switch keys from time to time, and you just get the description of being a really cool guy,
pretty
also,
much
supporter access to supporters only Discord access. Discord's free, but you get the cool guy channel if you're a supporter.
That's right.
Also, you can subscribe on twitch.tv/fanatixfour because they finally fixed their crap. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you also have Twitch Prime. You link it to your Twitch account, and you can become a subscriber for free. You get pretty much all of the same stuff that the YouTube members get, but it's on Twitch. You still get the loyalty badges, you get the free emotes, you get the game time, but it's on Twitch. Also, access to supporters only Discord and yada yada yada. So
yeah,
that's the housekeeping.
That's
also,
good.
Anchor, but nobody uses that. Just if you want to be a member, a member on one of the two. Preferably on Twitch, because Twitch is easier for you.
Yeah, that's true. Most people have Amazon Prime. So I
assume so. There's 7 billion Amazon Prime accounts. So if you got Twitch Prime, if you're, if a family member has Twitch Prime and they don't watch, or Amazon Prime and they don't watch Twitch, say, hey, can I use your Twitch Prime sub?
That's right. It takes 5 minutes out of your day. I forgot about it actually, because I've got Amazon Prime and I don't think I've used mine for anything. So look at that. I'm gonna be helping. Just a little circular right there, but
also I want to shout out Eric, because Eric Henley, he was the first person I was like, yo, Twitch is working, and he said, dope, subscribed before I even figured out the streaming schedule or any of that. So shout out to Eric.
Do you know what your streaming schedule is going to be, more or less?
Probably still I'm going to do Wednesday. I don't know if I'm probably not going to do it like right off the bat, because I do want to try to flesh that out and figure out this whole Discord Mac audio capture situation I got going on, because that way it'll be easier to do like squad streams with like Dave and Bob and whatnot. So like once I have that figured out, and it's just easier to like click and go, plug and play sort of situation, and I'll be streaming just whenever, because like whenever I have free time, I'm playing Smash Brothers. I might as well stream that.
Yeah,
it'll definitely be a fully fleshed out like streaming schedule by the time like Pokemon comes out, because that's when I really want to basically that's my version of Mario Maker, where Bob was like,
right,
once that comes out, just stream it on extra days that aren't even on the schedule. Situation.
You tweeted out like how many hours was it, like 900 hours or something like that you had in Smash Bros at this point? Ultimate?
Somewhere like something like that.
Yeah, or like 800 or something like that. That was that's a lot.
A lot of like half of it is idle, which
that makes sense
in the breakdown, because it's just like I just have it on when I'm editing or doing whatever, and it's like, oh, this is rendering. I can play a few matches, But yeah, it's a lot. I like Smash Brothers a whole lot. Which, speaking of that, what are you playing, Parker?
Yeah, I'm playing Super Mario Maker 2. So far, I've put like 45 hours into it or whatever, and it's been out 2 weeks. And I actually didn't get to play as much this week as I would have liked to, but I put it my 3rd level, and this one's the only one that like the other two are just kind of gimmicky and fun, and this one's the only one that's like, I don't know, feels more like an actual platform. I don't know, something. I think it's maybe good, but it was the first one that I was working on. It's a ski slopes type level. I was actually going to make a video on my levels this week, the same way that AJ did last week, but then Switch Lite stuff happened, so we changed that right on up. So
it worked.
Just to say, yeah, it did. It was good.
I don't know if YouTube's going to be like, oh yeah, this video's performing really well. Let's suppress it.
Yeah. Very helpful. Thanks, YouTube. But playing that, and also Dr. Mario World came out this week, like a day
And you
early.
played that?
Yeah, I played it at.
I have it because I
Uh-huh.
did the whole pre-order
Yep.
thing, but I just never even thought to do the thing, you know?
Yeah, no, I opened it up. It's I think it's fun. I mean, like that's the kind of mobile phone game that I play anyway. Is yeah, I mean, I don't have Candy Crush, but at other times Candy
It's the
Crush or
Candy
like
Crush. This what it is now.
yeah, I mean, it's like that type of just like small, easy puzzle game that like sure you have 5 lives that if you lose a map thingy 5 times in a row, you'll have to wait for it to refill.
Mhm.
But I probably only ever play 5 max at a time anyway, and I don't lose that much because I'm so good at games. No, but like, yeah, it just the mechanics seem pretty good. It's just fun. I've played the versus mode some. I'm not great at it, but there you go. There it is. So
I need to check that out. I also
yeah,
need to play Mario Maker more.
yep.
Just this week, I see what happened was there was a Smash Brothers tournament, and one of the like higher tiered Smash Bros players started playing Pokemon Trainer, and then that showed me some new
Mm,
stuff that was like, oh snap, I need to do that more. So I made want to
interesting.
play Smash Brothers more, and then once I incorporated that, I started doing better overall. That made me want to play it even more. So I
Nice.
just been playing Smash Bros this week. But I do need to play Mario Maker, and I like realized that like in trying to get stuff together for the podcast, you got to think,
Mhm.
oh, I forgot we got to do the Mario Maker thing. But we'll do that
Oh,
next week. We'll do it
yeah.
next week and continue to do it from this point forward.
I would have remembered
Well,
it actually if I did, because I had it in my script for my video, but then again, switched up the video. So
I mean that makes it even better because like if
yeah,
you can like officially say like we're doing this thing now,
yeah,
then it's more people will submit more levels and tune in
yeah.
for like the reviews, I guess, of their level.
Critiques. I don't know, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, but yeah, I did go back into because I hadn't touched the story mode or whatever since like I did some of it right at the beginning. And then started making stuff, and then just kept making stuff, and kept making stuff, and kept making stuff. So then finally, when I finished this third level, I went back into the story mode. So I think I had paused on that. I was like 10% in, and now I'm like, I don't know, 35% in or something like that. So the levels generally are pretty easy. Even the hard ones. There was one, oh man. Okay, so there were two, and they were some of the gimmicky ones, but they were pretty fun. But that I actually died like a decent amount of times on. One of them is the evil mushrooms chasing you. And like I probably would have been fine if I wasn't trying to go for all the coins that are in there, but I was trying to go for all the coins in there, and I died a lot. So it's just a little unexpected how it works. And then the other one is it's like a kind of puzzly one where you can't jump at all, so you just have to like walk around and stuff. And there's some mechanics that
If only the mystery mushrooms were there. It could have been
yep.
Captain Toad. It could have been a Captain Toad.
Oh man, I know it would have been so good. But they had stuff in it where it's like even if you didn't jump, if something drops you, then that still counts as your feet being off the ground or whatever. So there were a couple of things where that kind of thing happened. I'm like, come on. So,
Yeah, that's
but otherwise, yeah, it was been playing that. It's been fun.
I need.
That's about it
I
for the
really
most part.
do. Mario Maker's like the first game that like I feel bad that I'm not playing because I feel like, yeah, you're not
Yep.
Smash Brothers, but Mario Maker, I'm like, I want to play. I want to play this, but
Mhm.
Smash Brothers. Usually it's like, yeah, I don't
Yep.
really want to play this, so I'm gonna play Smash Brothers. But now
It's
it's like,
about to start getting way more complicated. I feel like once we get into this fall, like
yeah,
there's stuff coming out. Like I don't know. So
Marvel
you're going to get
Avengers.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah,
I'll try it out. I don't know for sure if I'm going to get it myself, but I'll try it out and find out from
if
there.
Dan can't make the stream, you gotta do it.
That's right. And then
um,
the week after that's friggin' Fire Emblem.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
I'm probably I mean, I don't want to, but I'm probably gonna buy it. You're gonna get it. If they send it. I don't know if they'll send it or
yeah, that's true. We'll find out.
but if they send it, you'll get the product provided by Nintendo thing. I'm
Yep.
probably still gonna have to say it because it's like
Because you're technically the ambassador.
yeah, so it's like it's the worst. This is
Yeah.
like it's the
Hmm.
because it doesn't at this point, it doesn't matter what I do. People are going to assume that I get it for free. Like Mario Maker, there's literally one of the first comments on my level is product provided by Nintendo, but it's
That's
not.
amazing.
but it's not.
Uh-huh.
So that's something I'll never be able to
Oh,
escape.
yeah, why did you ever find out why that one wasn't product provided by Nintendo?
Nah, sometimes they just don't send them out to everybody.
Okay.
Or sometimes they just don't send them out to me, I guess. I don't know. Usually I get most of the stuff, but
Mhm.
this was like the first like big release that they were like, nah, we don't have it. And I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, all right." It
Mhm.
might have been because I requested it too late because I thought I
Yeah.
requested it with the first direct, but I didn't request it until the Mario Maker direct. So they might have
Gotcha.
already like filled up that queue.
Mhm.
But who knows, you know? Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I was gonna get it anyway. And
Yeah.
like I always tell people, it's like it doesn't. I get this stuff because they know I would have got it anyway,
Right.
and that they want to support the production of content. You know,
Indeed.
so it's like either way, you know.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yep.
but
But yeah,
besides,
anything else you've been playing?
I want to play. I don't know if there's no embargo. Eagle Island. It's a
Oh, yeah, yeah.
single
Uh-huh.
publishing. They sent me a
I was
keyboard.
just listening to the Wolf Den live from the other day, and they mentioned it there. That's the only way I know about it.
They sure did. So it was like the same day too that they emailed me and they said, "Hey, if you want to play this, here's a key." And it was I didn't even
Nice.
like I looked at it. I was like, "Okay, cool, a key." And then I looked at it and was like, "This key starts with an I. They're not on I yet. They're still on C." You know, like that like
Interesting.
inside baseball thing I was talking about with Bob, where it's like we
Uh-huh.
just get that many keys that we're like, oh, they're on D now, like. So I was like, no, and it turns out it was a Steam key. So I emailed them and said, hey, if you want me to play this
Mhm.
game, you might want to send me a Switch one. And they said, okay, here's the Switch one. If you want to give the Steam one away, go ahead.
Yep.
So if you want that, let me know in the Discord. Just add me.
Nice.
First
Mhm.
person to add me, since this is a Steam key. Normally I would drop the supporters only Discord stuff,
Mhm.
um, of it, Switch stuff in the supporters only Discord. But Steam, nah. You know,
Up for grabs. Nice. Well, we've got this is as per your request, a specific topic for today that's going
yeah,
to get a little controversial for
yeah,
sure.
best kind of topics.
So yeah, long story short, it's what are our favorite Pokemon for each type. There's a website where you can generate these. It's cpokemon.com/other stuff. I don't know. Just go to AJ's Twitter.
Yeah,
He's
go to
got the
my
link to it.
tweet.
And yeah, so we're going to talk about ours.
So
I
here
I
it
literally
is.
made mine 5 minutes before
Same.
we
I
recorded.
made mine minutes before you made yours.
Well, there you go.
But I'm going to do the screen sharing thing.
Do it.
Let's start with yours. 'Cause yours is the spicy one.
Yeah.
What is this saying to me? The girl is blah blah blah. The okay, that was random. Anyway, here we go.
There it is. That's
This
the
one,
one.
this one's yours. Here it is.
True dat.
Look at this trash. All right, so explain yourself.
Okay.
Best grass type Bayleaf.
So here, let me just preface the whole thing
Huh? Your Gen 1
by
trash.
just saying, I mean, a little bit, yeah. I've spent way more time in Gen 1 and then a decent amount of time in Gen 2, and I've played Gen 3 twice through, I think, maybe, and Gen 4 once, and then I fell off video games entirely. And then now I'm back, and so I actually have not played Gen 5, 6, or 7 at all.
Are you serious? Do
Yeah.
you
No,
have
yeah,
a
absolutely.
3DS?
I've got a 2DS.
Yo, I'm gonna hit you up with a code.
Cool.
But anyway, Bayleaf.
Yeah,
Explain yourself.
so I mean, long story short, like I might as well have put one of the Bulbasaur, like Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, whatever. Except I don't like Venusaur. So
Venusaur
probably like
garbage.
I just didn't want to have all Gen 1 starters or anything for
Yeah.
this. So I mean I like Bayleaf. Chikorita's cool.
So no Meganium?
No,
That's the right choice. Meganium's garbage.
yeah, of those three, just honestly, my list is pretty much just Pokemon that I've always just thought were cool.
Yeah,
Like
same.
that's
Yeah,
has nothing to do with like whether they're min-max, like whether they're good
Yeah,
or
I
not.
mean, it says your favorite. It doesn't
Yeah.
say the ones you think are the
Hmm.
most competitively viable.
Yep. So, and honestly, that's the case. A lot of, uh, I feel like middle Pokemon, like stage one of stage, 3-stage evolution Pokemon, the middle one is either the coolest or just the worst most of the time.
Yeah.
And so for Bayleaf, I just feel like that's the case. Yeah.
But
So
no,
there you go. That's
I
Bayleaf.
I'm not I don't disagree with that. I mean, I disagree with the fact that this is all Gen 1 and Gen 2.
Yep.
That's some garbage.
Yeah.
But Arcanine,
Garbodor, forgot about it. I'm just kidding.
solid.
Uh,
Squirtle, solid,
yep.
solid.
Squirtle, Wartortle,
Kangaskhan,
and Blastoise. Any of those three, I would be. I
no,
mean, I
that
know
I
you
mean,
feel weird about Blastoise, but
yeah, Blastoise, that's you know what? That's one of those cases where it just you fell off after the second evolution.
I think
After
with
that,
it, like, yeah, I don't know. With it specifically, the reason Squirtle is just like I like all three of those, but Squirtle is just like I feel like closest to my heart as far as like with the Squirtle Squad. Like that really took me in on that episode was right around one of the first three probably episodes of Pokemon that I ever watched, and that was the first Pokemon anything that I ever experienced. So there's that.
how dare you not
Yeah.
the first episode you saw be the first episode? But anyway,
Easily.
Kangaskhan. What?
Kangaskhan. I just always going in the Safari Zone as a kid. I just thought Kangaskhan was real cool. Also looked just super weird. Like Gen 1, Kangaskhan's art is awful. And
A
it's
lot of the
really
especially
fun.
if you're talking about red and blue or red and
Yes.
green, even
Yeah, right.
worse.
That's true. Yeah, no, he was pretty bad. Any of them from the back also were just
Yeah.
like not even a thing. Like they're
Yeah,
so
like
awful.
Charmeleon's back sprite is like, what?
Yep, so bad.
Trash.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think Kangaskhan's just cool. That's
The
all.
number 2 Zap. Zap number 2 is the
Yep.
best electric type according to Parker.
Mm-hmm. And this one, like most of these are just story based or whatever. When I played Yellow senior year and decided to like I'd never done the whole actually like catch them all. I just caught a lot of the Pokemon but didn't trade with it. Everybody
Mm,
else to get all 151 or whatever. So I got all 151. I was like, I want to keep playing, but I don't know what to do. And so I decided I'm just going to get all the Pokemon through the Hall of Fame in Yellow,
oh
and
my
pretty
goodness.
much just had a Zapdos that just he was level 100 just the normal way, and I could just beat all the Elite Fours just the Zapdos because
Oh, that's
Drill
trash.
Peck and
I was
Thunderbolt.
I was I was about to say that's a lot of work, but
I
that's garbage.
on it, so that's I would do that to level up the other Pokemon because I didn't. It was more fun to grind that way with
Yeah,
just like one Zapdos and one Pokemon behind it instead of going through Victory Road a million times
yeah,
or unknown, Cerulean Cave or whatever. So
yeah.
there, that's that.
Favorite psychic type, Mew.
There you go.
Okay.
There it is.
Favorite fighting type, Heracross.
I feel like he's barely even fighting type, but he's just cool.
It's a fighting type.
I mean, yeah. To me, he just feels way more bug than fighting. But like my
What?
bug type is,
Oh, so it was one of those where you cheated and you're like, I want to mention Heracross,
I
but
guess. I mean, I just saw the fighting type, and I don't know. Like Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan are pretty cool.
it's almost like there's what 5 other gens you could have pulled from.
Almost, but you know what? I know I have just like a lot of those. I just haven't spent time with the Pokemon, even in Gen 3 and Gen 4 that I've played.
How
I just
dare
didn't
you.
spend time with a lot of them,
How dare you.
So, oh
Uh,
yeah, people are going to be mad, and that's okay.
no, it's not. It's not okay because you shouldn't be this wrong. Rock Kabutops.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Ground Don fan.
Yeah. I
Don,
stand by this one.
he's all right.
Yeah.
You stand by it. That means you have an opinion that you could talk about.
He,
What is it?
I mean, it's going to be the same opinion as most of the rest of them.
I
He's
just
just
think
cool.
it
I mean, that's all there is to it. He's just like, again, every time I see him, I'm like, that's a cool guy. I'm
yeah.
down with that.
Flying Lugia.
Mm-hmm.
I'll allow it.
Awesome.
This is the first one I'll allow. With no caveat. Bug and Scyther.
Mm-hmm.
This puts you in the same basic B category as Bob. Because
Love it.
Bob cycles through what? 3 Pokemon for his favorite Pokemon. When people ask
Mm-hmm.
what his favorite Pokemon is either Scyther, Mewtwo, or some other garbage that I can't remember. Favorite poison type. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Nidoqueen.
I don't know why. I like Nidoqueen and Nidoking, but Nidoqueen just like, I don't know, felt a little more unique. So there
How?
you go. I don't know.
Are you mean like unique to like it, or unique like in the context of the other of Nidoking? Like it's more unique than Nidoking?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
All right. Favorite dog type, Tyranitar.
Uh-huh.
I'll allow it.
There you go.
Favorite ghost type, Haunter.
Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you think Haunter is just better than Gengar?
Yep.
Weird. Favorite ice type, Articuno.
Okay, story time again.
Okay.
When I was 8, I think. Okay, so if you listen to the episode like 2 weeks ago, you'll know. So I lived in I was born in the US, but then lived in France for 10 years when I was a kid, and then lived in Belgium for a while as well. So I was in France, and I went to a school where, because I went to like just regular French school, every Tuesday afternoon I'd go to an English program where like I spoke English at home with my parents, but French at school. So it was like teaching grammar and reading and writing and all that kind of stuff. Just it was like an afternoon of just English class. And this one kid there was the filthiest liar that there's ever been, and legitimately told me his uncle worked, or his cousin, I think, worked at the Pokemon card factory in Japan.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I can get any of you one card that's like the card you want. And I was like, Articuno. Give me an Articuno. I'm happy. And he was like, okay, cool. Every week I went back and I was like, yo, Basil, got that Articuno? He's like, no, man, not this week. Every single week for like the longest time. And then we were renting a house at one point that had an indoor pool. We were in this house for like a year, and it was the coolest thing that had an indoor pool. We're not rich at all, so none of that. But I told him about that, and because he's a filthy liar, he also doesn't believe anybody else on things. So he's like, "Nuh-uh, you don't have an in-ground pool or an indoor
Those
pool."
don't
And I was like,
exist. They're only
"Yeah,
allowed
exactly."
to be in gyms.
And I was like, "No, we do. Like, we just rent this house. It's not even ours, but like we've got it." And he's like, "Prove it. Invite me over." And then I told my dad, and he was like, "Don't invite him over. He just wants to come over and swim in the pool." And I was like, "You're smart." So
You're
all that
smart.
to say, that's why Articuno is just like, I have so many fond memories of wanting an Articuno card for so long. I mean, I have like at least one. I think 2 or 3 now, but nevertheless.
A love born from pain.
That's right.
Next, favorite steel type, Scizor.
Yeah.
This is cheating. You have
Could be.
both evolutions on here for Scyther.
Yep.
Scyther's okay, but he's not that good.
He's just cool.
All right.
Then again, seeing some off your list, like, I mean, I'd be fine with some of the ones that you put on as well. So, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Because they're all dope. Next, favorite
Mhm.
dragon, which this is really cheating, but at least it's technically not Gen 1 or Gen 2.
That's true.
Mega Charizard.
Charizard?
I just had a stroke, as Bob would say.
Yep. He's the dragonist that there ever was. So
I mean, he's what everybody thought he should be.
yeah, exactly.
Although, I mean,
Then again, I will say, so I've got a shiny Charizard in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and shiny Mega Charizard Y is dope.
He is dope.
That is all.
He is dope. I like regular Mega Charizard Y more than Mega Charizard X, though.
Yeah, I think I'd agree.
Togekiss.
Togetic. Crazy.
His favorite fairy.
Yep. Togetic's cool. Also, at some point, my wife took a "What Pokemon are you?" and it was a Togetic, and I was like, I already really like Togetic, so perfect.
That just confirms it.
Yep. So there you go. That one's because it's just cute and fun.
All right.
So there's my list.
Here's the definitive.
As official as it gets.
Now we have a little bit of crossover, and by
Yep,
a little bit, I mean, like,
the
one
littlest
that's
of bits.
exactly, and then, like, a few that are, like, same Pokemon, different spot, or, like,
Hmm.
different evolution, something like
Yep. And some of these, like, even just seeing them, I'm like, yeah, I'd go with that too.
yeah, that one's dope.
Yep.
Grass, Sceptile.
For
Sceptile is dope.
example, I'm down with that.
Yeah, he's dope.
100%.
He's like the first, like in Gen 3, that was like the first generation. I was like, yep, picking grass off the bat.
Mm,
Like, usually I have all three anyway, because I have a brother that plays Pokemon, and he, from the very beginning, he's like, no, we're going to start the game, and then one of us is going to start it over 2 more times and trade over or 4 more times or whatever, and trade over the other starters, and we're going to have all three. And I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that. But this was the first one that's like the guy that I picked from the get go was the grass type.
yep.
So Sceptile, dope. Fire, Charizard, because are you new here?
I mean,
Um,
yeah, no
Duh,
kidding.
of course.
The only
Charizard,
reason I, again, like, I picked Arcanine just
because you're
because I was
dumb.
like,
Because you're not
there you go.
the sharpest tool in the shed. Water, Greninja, because Greninja is just dope. You know, like no sentimental reason. He's just
Yep,
dope. I'm like
super is.
looking through the list. Like scrolling through them, like water type that I like the best. Duh, like obviously Greninja.
Yep.
Normal type, Snorlax. Probably just because like he's like the first normal type that I think of when I'm like, I want a normal type on my team.
Mm,
He's just like beefy, you know what I mean?
yep.
He's just a tank. Electric type, Jolteon, similar to Snorlax. Wait, I didn't even give you any time to object. Do you have any problem with any of these so far?
No, not so far. I'm just about to, but besides that, we're good.
All right. Jolteon. Yeah,
Yep.
Jolteon's cool. Same deal. Where it's like if I'm thinking of an electric type that I want on my team, Jolteon's it. It's
Hmm.
one of the good evolutions because there's a lot of garbage ones like Flareon. Flareon, pure garbage.
Yep.
Psychic, Lugia.
I So
Yes.
on Jolteon,
Yes.
I think something about, like, when I was playing through, like, I really liked Jolteon, but
Mhm.
then when I was playing through Yellow that one time that I was saying, Jolteon just like kind of sucked in there. Um, and that like ruined my, and honestly, same for Vaporeon. Like, except for I don't really like the design of Vaporeon very much, but
I don't like the
whatever.
design of Vaporeon either. Also, it changed. Like Vaporeon used to like it's one of those
It used
like
to be more chubby, I feel like, than it is now. I don't
I
know.
wasn't even talking about that.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
if you want to be like a superficial piece of garbage,
Well, I mean, like how Pikachu used to be like a cute little round Pikachu, and
you're
now he's
over
not
here
anymore.
fat shaming all the Pokemon. That's real
Yeah,
great.
there you go.
Um, I just mean that like Vaporeon had like a fin, like an extra fin on its head that it
Oh,
doesn't
does
have.
it not anymore?
No, I don't think so. Not shaped the same way, at least. In its sprite, one of
I
the
need to
sprites, I
look.
think it was like the Japanese one or something.
It looks okay. Everything I'm seeing still has the fin on the top of its head that I'm noticing, but I don't know.
I'll
Oh,
pull
that
up
thing doesn't know, so we'll
the
find out.
yeah. Well, I'll pull up the picture if I find the one that I was like, what? But
Yep,
I think it's like one of the original Japanese designs or something. Psychic Lugia. Lugia is
yep.
just cool.
Lugia's dope.
Heracross fighting because
I
he's a fighting
is
type.
true. Hey, we have the same for
Yeah.
Airgrass. I like
Yep.
it. Did you also, like? I wanted to pick Silver because Lugia is on the cover, but then you also get
I picked
the
gold because you just get the well, at least in Heart Gold. I don't
yeah.
remember like gold as well because I'm just like Heart Gold is my favorite Pokemon game, period.
Yep.
Like
Hmm.
as a whole. And you just get the better Lugia.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Lugia,
Exactly.
you
Like
get
that.
on level 70. So I'm like,
Yep.
I'm gonna get that one.
Hmm. Although, arguably, because of EVs and IVs and stuff, would a level 50 that you evolve into like that you train into a level 70 be better
No,
than the level?
because
Okay,
because if you catch a Pokemon at 70, it still has like blank EVs.
gotcha,
And the IVs are I don't know if they were set in that generation, but the IVs don't really have anything to do with what level they're on.
gotcha. For some reason, I was under the impression that, like, how it worked. If I guess just because of, I don't know. So, like, if I caught a level 13 Chansey or something like that, and evolved and like raised it to be a level 52 Chansey, then its stats would be way better than a level 52 Chansey from Cerulean Cave in Gen 1. Which I think is true, but maybe not.
Nope.
Maybe I don't understand how it works.
Okay. When you catch a Pokemon, like the only scenario where it's like you'd be worse off for EVs is if, like, say you caught a Pokemon and then you like caught it at level 2 or whatever, and you're already in the later part of the game and you battled something that gave you a certain type of EVs. That would mess up the balance of it because it would allot the EVs that you're allowed to have.
Gotcha.
Where, like, so what I'll usually do now in like the newer games is like I'll catch a Pokemon and like I'll just play through it regular, but I'm like, that's not the one that I'm going to EV train, because like just organically through playing the game, you're going to get a whole bunch of random EVs that aren't exactly what you want. So I'll just be like, okay, this is just my like single player one, and I'm just going to get an egg and then train it from the get go with whatever EVs that I want to get it. And then you like take it and you buy like proteins and like all that crap. And then you give it the specific ones that you want to max out the stats that you want. And then there you go. But wild Pokemon don't accrue EVs, so it doesn't really matter what level they're on.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think I've misunderstood that the whole time, but I also haven't paid attention to it at all, so it's not like it affected me much. But I'll pay attention moving forward.
This is your chance. Next generation. I always like doing that. With new Pokemon games, because they're effectively the same game and they have been for the last 20 years. I'm like, I'm going to give later. To do. And like what, a game or two ago, EV training was the thing that I was like, I used to not want to bother with this, but it gives me something new to do in this game.
Right. Yeah.
For the past 20 years. So yeah. Brock, Tyranitar. He's cool.
Absolutely.
Where did you have Tyranitar?
Dark.
You had him in dark. He's cool. Ground, Flygon. Also cool. Not great, because it gets wrecked by ice types. Like wrecked.
Ooh, that's a good point.
But he's just cool.
Yeah.
Braviary. Also cool. You know, America. Bug, Leavanny. Just looks cool, you know?
Yeah. True.
Ivysaur. This one was because like I was trying to think like what's a poison type that I like that's like not that I don't associate more with being the other type. And I couldn't think of one because most poison types just look garbage. Fittingly so. And you know, Ivysaur is close to my heart because I spike people a lot with Ivysaur, you know?
That's
He's
true.
always there for me when I need him.
That's right.
When I need an up air in the pinch, you know, I pull out Ivysaur and just up air to my heart's content, maybe get it down there, maybe a forward smash off the ledge, you know what I mean?
That's not Pokemon terms.
It is now. Dark type, Scrafty, because he's just dope.
Yeah.
You know? He has a hoodie. That's dope.
Pretty cool.
You don't get more dope than having a hoodie, you know? That's top tier dope.
Pretty sure that's how it works.
It's exactly how it works. Ghost, Gengar, because he's just the better one. Period.
Haunter's too big. Like
he is.
I never
like,
realized
how bigger.
It does not make any sense. Like I just always, I think in that one the haunted boat episode of the anime season 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he was canonically smaller back then. Maybe not, but like I felt like he was a mid-size between the two.
I don't know.
And then they just changed it or something like that.
Pokemon sizes are just generally weird. And they're not supposed to all be the same, but for whatever reason, their size is like attached to their Pokedex entry. So it's like, that's just the size it is. Even though like in the anime, again, you'll see Ash's Charizard, who's like freaking 4'7", and then a Charizard next to him that's like 7'6", 7'9" or some crap.
Which that's what, in my mind, a Charizard should be.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're thinking like I could ride Charizard, but it's really a 10-year-old that usually rides Charizard, so it makes sense that is the height, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, Gengar, just the better one. Yep. Ice, Lapras, because Lapras is dope.
Lapras is super dope.
That's just all of them dope. Empoleon. Another situation was like Steel type. Some of the like think of as a steel
Mhm.
type that is cool. Empoleon was the one that's like, yeah, this
I
one.
would, yeah. I like Scizor is real cool, but
Yeah,
Empoleon also right up
yeah,
there.
yeah. Also, I'm playing Pokemon Diamond because again, my brother's like, "Yo, we should play a Pokemon game." So that's what I'm doing right now. So he's just like real at the
Mhm.
top of my mind. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Uh, Goodra.
Mhm.
Goodра's just like a nice boy. You know what I mean? He's just a
Out of
good boy.
curiosity, so you saw that both Tyranitar and Gudra are going to be version exclusives to Sword or to Shield. Does that change your mind at all on
No,
from getting Sword?
not even a little bit. Because I already
Cool.
have my own Goodra.
True.
So I don't need that.
Right.
I'll just transfer it. But yeah, Goodra, dope.
Cool.
Fairy, Primarina. Because I don't care about most fairy types. And Primarina is just the coolest looking one.
True.
Or I don't know if you would call Primarina cool per
I don't
se.
know. Beautiful. Lovely,
Yeah,
perhaps.
elegant. So
Pristine.
that's the canonical list. Let me know your wrong list, unless it's the same in the comments. Link it,
Yeah.
or tweet it at me, any of
Uh-huh.
the above. There
Yep.
it is.
At A. McRae Jr.
Yes,
Twitter.
linked in the description.
Good
Fam.
stuff.
Yeah.
So now that we've finished with that, it's been a kind of crazy week.
Yes, it has. See, I was talking to Falcon about this because he's one of the many people that's like, "Hey, this exists. Here it is," And I'm
Uh-huh.
like waking up. I'm like, I look at my phone and see all these notifications. I'm like, okay, let me check Nintendo's YouTube.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, they announced the Switch Lite. So like way before I see any type of announcements or anything like that, I see it in my notifications, which I think is really cool.
That was
Um,
100% Striker XL with me.
yeah.
I think we'd been messaging maybe about Mario Maker the day before or something like that, and he messaged me and was like, "Hey, this thing," and I was like waking up. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then, sure enough, saw it. They had announced, crazy old the Nintendo Switch Lite, and so thanks, Striker. I would have seen it 15 seconds later, but I'm glad that I saw it from your link.
Yeah, it's just cool
Yeah,
that that's how you see it,
it's fun. Yep,
like because it
exactly.
could just be through Nintendo's Twitter, but
Yeah,
that's how everybody sees it. Like they
yeah,
have this
exactly.
unique thing of like, hey, our viewers showed it to us. That's cool.
Exactly.
Um,
So yeah, that's a excuse me.
yeah,
I don't even know where to start. It got announced. That's
yes,
a start, a first thing, as it were.
$199.99 for the
Yep.
Switch Lite. I
So
almost called it Switch Mini.
yeah. Okay, let's just go over some details of it. I mean, everybody probably already knows most of the
Especially if
basic
you
stuff.
saw the video, youtube.com/fanatixfour. Go to the Parker's video playlist. It's right there.
That's right. You should go and do that. It's fairly standard stuff. Everybody probably already knows. There's three colors, plus the Pokemon Special Edition one. There's yellow, turquoise, and gray. The yellow looks surprisingly cool for being yellow, which is kind of a crappy color usually.
Yeah.
But it actually looks kind of good. So that's the thing. The
Yeah,
other
good
two,
for thumbnails,
yeah, very true. And then there's the Pokemon Special Edition one that's coming out
Yeah.
November 2nd, I think, and doesn't come with the game. Pretty sure. So that's a thing. But otherwise, it's all in one, just a handheld Switch that doesn't have detachable Joy Cons.
It
They're part
cannot
of it.
be docked.
It can't be docked. Has a D-pad. Does have gyro controls for anybody who I've seen that rhetoric go around
Yeah,
because
because like they say no IR camera, motion camera or something like that. I
yeah,
think that's how they phrase it.
yep,
So they just like people automatically assume, oh, it doesn't have motion. Whereas
yep,
like I think they have like Splatoon and
yep,
the promotion for it somewhere.
yep. And they
Um
had Pokemon in the yeah, like because when they said that, I was like looking at the games that who was it that was on screen? I don't even remember. Um, Whatever, doesn't matter.
who
I was
Koizumi?
like, who I can't remember who was announcing the whole thing. Uh,
Koizumi.
it was Koizumi. Okay, yeah, yeah. So Koizumi was there and had some games behind him, and I was like, Pokemon. They just said no motion controls, but Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are on there, and they kind of need motion controls for the most part.
Granted,
They don't really, I guess,
yeah,
because you can
but if you're
kind of,
playing because it's just handheld.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like
I mean, because I still aimed with the gyro stuff,
uh-huh.
but you can just, it's
You can
annoying to
you
use
can
just
just
the
use it.
thumbstick, but you can.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, Splatoon, like all those things, I was like,
Which
How does that
again,
work?
I mean, you can aim with the gyro, but it's trash in
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I looked it up, but sure enough, there's still an accelerometer and gyroscope in it, which are also, I think people overlook a lot of times. The switches, like obviously the two
The
Joy-Con
Switch
have it, but
itself
the Switch itself
has
has it too.
gyro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So all that stuff. Let's see. Any other pertinent details? I don't know. No HD rumble and
Mhm.
no IR sensor. Yeah, can't dock and slightly longer
Which
battery life.
what does that mean? Like, do the Pro controllers have HD rumble? Like,
I think
officially?
so. Oh, yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure because it's just like more minute stuff, but it would definitely work differently in the Pro controller than it does in just Joy-Cons because just the way that they're shaped or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
oh, wait, okay. So, yeah, I guess it does. Because I thought I saw on there that they said it doesn't have HD rumble or that, like, they don't call it HD rumble.
Interesting.
But it feels like it's basically what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
like, it feels distinctly different from just regular, like,
Hmm.
rumble.
I guess the games that use it as more specific stuff. So like One Two Switch or Mario Party that use it as like very specific, minute rumble.
Yeah.
It are only Joy-Con compatible.
Mhm.
So I guess they have just more freedom of like because it's one thing. The Pro controller is like one whole um, controller. Then maybe it's harder to separate that out in the same way that you would with just one Joy-Con or something. But yeah, it still seems like it's the same basic mechanism in any case, but maybe it's just not quite as detailed or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, so which of these things, what of this surprised you and didn't surprise you?
None of it surprised me, if I'm honest.
Yep.
Yeah, none of it. The colors, maybe like yellow was a random color. I was like,
Yep.
oh, okay,
Especially for
yellow.
that to be like the main one
Yeah,
seemed like surprising. Yeah.
very strange. But the rest of it, I was like, yeah, this checks out. It's like, a lot of people were like, why isn't it 150? But I feel like they always do that. Like, why isn't the Switch 250? Like,
Yeah.
why isn't Nintendo paying me $50 to play this?
Did
Um,
people I haven't seen anybody make that comment. That's funny.
I see a lot of people doing it. And it's like it's weird because it's like at first I saw like generally positive uh reception of the whole thing.
Mhm.
People were like, this is dope. Like it's probably not for me, but it's cool.
Yeah.
you know? And then I had one notable Twitter debate, which I guess we could talk about.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you
I
see
didn't
that?
read it at all. Uh-uh.
So Izzy,
Oh,
my notable like we have like we're friends obviously, but we butt heads a lot, you know?
yeah, I've never actually interacted with Izzy before, but anytime that I've seen arguments that you or Dan or Bob or Will or whatever, I guess mostly you and Bob
It's
have with
usually
him,
it's
I'm like,
usually like
"Izzy, what are you thinking?"
yeah. So basically how this whole thing like he's been on this whole Switch Lite or Mini at the time like
Mhm.
bandwagon or whatever, being like this is like this needs to happen. This would be really cool. This needs to happen. And everybody else is like including me is like even though like the whole time I feel like I've been pretty transparent about like I wouldn't be surprised if they did this, but I
Mhm.
think it's like weird because Nintendo is usually like with the branding that works or
Hmm.
the gimmick, I guess, that
Yeah.
works. They stick with that. Like the Wii, right? The Wii Mini or whatever that came out, and it wasn't like no motion controls on your Wii remote, like
Right.
it still had motion. It just said no GameCube, which they usually
And
cut out the features
and
that
no
are
internet, which was like, that was dumb.
yeah,
Like, not to have the eShop was like, come on, guys. But
yeah.
I guess it wasn't an eShop in quite the same way anyway. But go on.
Yeah. So he was basically like nobody does this. I've never seen anybody do this ever aside from myself where people like do the whole like take your controllers out and play like out in public or on a plane or train or whatever or the
Hmm.
back seat of a car or whatever. Which I don't know a whole lot of people that specifically use the Joy-Con.
Right.
unless
Agreed.
they're children, which is what they're for,
When
effectively.
you say use the Joy-Con, do you mean like
Like
share the
split
joy,
Joy-Con.
use them
Yeah.
sideways? Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I see
Agreed.
kids do that a lot because
Yeah.
it works for kids, but I see a lot of people do the whole like tabletop mode. Here's a pro controller. I'll use the
Yeah.
Joy-Con like
Or just
in the
buy
field
a
or whatever.
second set of Joy-Con
Um,
that'll also fit in your smaller case or something like that. That's what I've got going on.
right.
Yeah.
And I've even seen people like our age, do the split Joy-Con thing because if they don't have their controllers with them, sometimes you just have your Switch and you're playing Smash Brothers or something, and your friend's like, "Yo, I want to play," and it's like, "All
Yeah.
right, let's do split Joy-Con." Like sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but the point is, people like playing it out and about. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't think anybody ever does that, so that's why they cut it out." And it's like, I don't think that's what they did. I don't think it's like, oh, nobody's using this feature, so
Right.
let's cut it out. I think it was more so, how do we cut cost on this?
Hmm.
But still keep the core of what everybody's using. Not cut
Right.
out something that is unimportant, but just not as important as
Yeah.
the core of what people or a segment of the audience anyway is going to
Right.
get. Because I don't see too many people being like, "Oh, well, I can get some money back if I trade in my Switch."
Hmm.
Because like GameStop, they were running a promotion like a week ago or something
Hmm.
like that, where you could trade in your Switch and get $250 for it. So I mean, effectively, you can get $50 back for your
Yep.
Switch
I
if
think now it's back down to 200.
mm,
I looked at it a couple days ago in any case and it looked like it was 200, but could change.
who knows?
But yes,
But
go
yeah,
on.
like in a world where you could easily just be like, "Oh, I don't need this," and you could probably like sell it to a friend or sell it on Amazon or whatever, and get
Yeah.
more money in addition to just getting a Switch Lite. I don't see many people saying like, I can use the extra money. I don't want this other stuff." Most people are like, "Yeah, the Switch is just the better option. Like it's the better option. If you don't have a Switch and all you care about is handheld mode,
Yep.
then yeah, the Switch Lite is great. But it's not like the best thing." So then
Right.
it just devolved into this whole situation of me being like it makes sense. It's logical that you don't see as many people doing this because you don't live in as populated area, like that
Right.
has switches. You're in Canada where
Hmm.
it's world record for a launch. It's 400,000 units in 10 months.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So I was like, I'm like, obviously, like just the size of the pool of people that are going to have a Switch and do that is very small. So the chances of you seeing that are very small.
Yep.
Especially since like I'd bet that um that's like what, two provinces in Canada and specifically specific cities
Yeah.
that
Right.
like
Exactly.
are making up the bulk of that number.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think. I mean, the real thing, especially what we're finding out too. You did a poll on YouTube to see who, like, if people are thinking about getting it or not getting it or getting it for somebody else. I think it's like 90%. It's going to be about getting new people in the door and
right.
expanding the user base rather than having people double dip. I
Yeah.
think people would double dip on a like higher,
They're going
like
to
a
be like
pro
the
kind of a thing.
evangelists, they're going to either
Yes.
they're going to like do it for other people or they're going to buy like another one for themselves. Like either they're like me or Bob in one of these two ways where it's like I want to buy one and talk about it in a video,
Yep.
and then once I do that, it's just going to be my handheld Switch and I'm
Hmm.
just never going to undock the other one.
Yep.
That sort of situation.
Or like a
Or
Justin, which
right.
sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah. Justin's a good
Hmm.
use case where that is the situation that he's in where he's like, I already sold my dog.
Yeah.
That whole situation.
Hmm.
And I like went the smaller form factor and like the slightly better battery life and the
Hmm.
more like compact or packed, I guess is the better way
Hmm.
to put it, pixels.
Right. Yeah.
um so yeah, like there's some benefits to it, I guess. But
Hmm.
on the whole, like if you have a Switch, and I called my brother because I told you my brother got a Switch
Yep.
last week, and I called him because I knew he was going to call me and be like, "They just announced a new Switch. Should I take mine back?" So I called him before he even
Uh-huh.
got to it. I was like, "Don't even worry about it. The one you got is better."
Yep.
And I told him like what all the Switch Lite does, and he's like, "Yeah, man, like." Why would I want that? Why are you telling me this? It's like, because I know you and I know you're going to call me and ask me, do you need to trade this in?
Yep.
Or return it before the window to do so.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but like my wife though is, I mean, I talked about it in the video, but like she's a perfect candidate for, like, she plays some, and I think it's one of those where like once she got her own Joy Cons, she also played more. So like when it was kind of her own thing, but we don't need a second one that docks. Like we can just play the one that docks anyway, and
Yeah.
then she can just play this separately. And she's way more excited about it anyway. It's like prettier and all that stuff. So like, I think all things considered, like and again, parents with kids, like it being easier to pick up, and people that are like, I've thought about getting a Switch, but like haven't thought about all this stuff that we're considering, like all the rigmarole of like, this is better because of this, and this is better because of, like, all that kind of stuff. I think there's a lot of people that it's like, yeah, I've been waiting to get a Switch, but like, I just don't want to spend $300.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
$200, sure, I'll do that. And
Yeah.
then
That's
maybe they don't even care
that's
about docking.
3DS. That's 3DS price range right there, because
Yeah.
that's how much the 3DS XL was. The
Yep.
new 3DS XL or whatever.
Yep.
That was $200.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, that's a great price range.
Yep.
That's cheaper than like Wii was,
Yeah. Right.
So I would say that that's an easy buy. Like if I didn't have a Switch and this wasn't my
Mm-hmm.
job, I would like see that, and I mean I would probably already have one anyway because I
That's
just
true.
like playing video games. But if I didn't, and it was just a casual thing, and I just wanted to play Smash Brothers every once in a
Mm-hmm.
while, I would buy a Switch Lite
Yep.
at that $200. Like, oh shoot, like at that point, that's when it's tempting to just be like, oh yeah, I know you kind of like video games. I'll just buy you a Switch Lite.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Like that sort of thing.
How do you feel about, so Doug Bowser, I think, made the comments that like the Switch Lite isn't replacing the 3DS.
They're crazy. They need to stop. They need to stop. And I know, I mean,
It's all semantics to some degree too, because
yeah,
like what is replacing? Like,
right.
no, technically nothing's replacing the 3DS. At some point, the 3DS is just going to be dead, and this will be there instead. Which,
Right.
like, really, that is replacing it. But like, I guess if you give me a hamburger and I'm eating that hamburger, and then you're like, here's some pizza, like, sure, that pizza's not replacing the hamburger, but it's like, that's the next thing I'm going to eat. Like,
Yeah.
forget about the hamburger. I don't know. Like, that's a dumb analogy, but same kind of thing where it's like, yeah, it's not replacing it, but it is. As far as the consumer is concerned, like,
I mean, effectively, it's replacing it, but it's not killing it. I
right,
guess
true. That's a
would
good
be the
point.
better way to put it, because
Yeah,
there's
because
still
it's
like,
totally on them whether they want it to actually die or not.
yeah, because they're still supporting it and they're still selling new ones and that sort of thing, but they're not supporting it with software. So, I
Hmm.
mean, it's effectively dead in that regard. It's not the $200 price point anymore. That's the
Hmm.
Switch Lite. So, like, it's replacing its old use where it's the like low entry point for the kids and like that sort of thing. But
Yep.
it's not, it just changes the context of what 3DS is for.
Yep.
Where not completely, because it's still the cheap option if you don't want to spend now $200 and you don't trust your kid with a $200 thing. You can
Yep.
just give them this $75 console and say, hey, here, and here's a
Mhm.
huge library of games that I can pay. You could probably spend $150 on a 2DS and like what, 5 games
Mhm.
and have them be good for the rest of the year. So
I mean, and I can see too, this will probably have a lot more peripherals of like cases and like sturdy cases and stuff like that. That like the
mhm,
Switch has that kind of, but because you're supposed to be able to take the Joy Cons off and it's supposed to be able to dock, you don't really have all the same options as far like there's the Satisfy grip, like there's grips, but there's not really the same kind of thing as like friends of mine that have kids. Their kids have iPads, and those iPads are like just to the teeth in like casing protective stuff to where like they can do whatever they want. That iPad's not going to break. Where because this is now all one solid unit, they can make stuff for that where you don't have to think about putting it in a dock or taking off the Joy Cons. You can just leave it in this like protective case thing, and then feel super safe about kids just using it and it being fine.
yeah. Also, like less moving parts, less things to break. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about the Joy-Con breaking.
Yep.
I don't know whether or not they fixed the drift issue. I would assume so.
I would assume so
Um,
too. Yeah. People
and it would
people
be
mention that in
easier.
the comments for sure.
It would be easier to deal with on a warranty level, because like I've contacted Nintendo and been like, hey, my Joy Cons are doing whatever, or
Hmm.
specifically it was a Pro controller. My Pro controller is drifting, and they're like, oh yeah, that's out of warranty because the warranty is like shorter on controllers than it is for like the console itself.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, that's garbage. I'm like, well, how much is it to fix it? And they're like $30. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy a new one. Like that's pointless at that
Yeah.
point.
And then have that one be the one that other people use when they come over, and they're like, "Man, I suck at Smash," and you're like,
No, this is what I
"Yeah,
did.
you do."
I traded it in at
Oh,
GameStop for $25, right?
nice.
$25 cheaper than it would have been to replace that one or whatever. Uh, then I just bought a new one and got the warranty at GameStop. The like just swap it in. It was like, oh, this is messed
Yeah.
up. They don't even look at. They don't do none of that. They're like, oh, okay, here's another. And then you just walk out and you're good. And you give them another $10 or whatever, and then you're good on the warranty for that. So
Nice.
that's what my plan is now with the Joy-Con and whatever controllers drift. That's my only reason to ever go to GameStop, because I don't go there otherwise.
No, yeah, same. Man, that's funny. Yeah, last things I guess on Switch, slightly longer battery life, barely, but a
Yeah,
little bit.
half L.
Yep. I mean, which makes sense. It's more compact, so like it sounds like, and this is about to get into our next article, there's the actual internals are different, the chipset is different, that kind of stuff, to where it runs more efficiently, but it's also smaller. So the more efficient and smaller only bumps it up just a little bit, which is fine, makes sense. But that does lead us into the next bit, which is that the actual original Switch might be getting, seems like at some point it's getting some sort of hardware revision, whether silent or not.
Right. I think
So
it's probably going to be silent.
yeah,
because it just doesn't seem like the sort of thing that Nintendo would make a huge deal about.
right.
Like even like the new 3DS, right? Like that wasn't like even a Game Boy to Game Boy Color jump in power.
Right. No.
But they still made a deal of it because it was like a 30% boost or something like that. So they're like, hey, new thing, and it has a new name. It's new. So I don't think they're going to do that whole situation yet. I think next year will probably be, and it just makes more sense with the new consoles coming in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For them to be like, hey, we also got a new thing. It's not like the successor, but it's their Pro.
Yep.
I don't know if they'll call it Pro. They'll probably not. They'll probably call it new.
Yep.
But they'll probably do something different then. I think this is mostly to fend off the hacking stuff, how people could just like easily like flash their Switch and homebrew it or whatever. I think this was supposed to be the way to fix that.
It sounds like it's partly that, and then partly also because they moved to the chipset for the Switch Lite, that they're like, well, we want the whole thing to be on the same chipset anyway, because it was on the Tegra 210, which was, I guess, the model number or whatever, and now it's going to be on the Tegra 214, probably something like that. I don't know. So theoretically, that means it should also run slightly more efficiently, and some other like small benefits like that. I know Bob and Will were talking about maybe it would have more flash or more storage on it, that like 54 gig or something like that, which I could see that being still within the silent revision kind of thing, where it's like, oh, by the way, this one just has a little bit more storage.
I think there was something in the OS about there being support for more storage.
Gotcha.
So it might be like, if anything, like an iPad situation where it's like, we got this new Switch, the base one's still 32 gigabytes. If you want to pay $50, it shouldn't be $50 more.
Right.
I mean, that's marketable. $50 more for another 32 gigabytes, or preferably like 100 more gigabytes or whatever. There it is. So
yep. I mean, and it makes sense with games like The Witcher coming out. I guess if it would make sense for them to want to have more onboard storage, because there's probably a lot of, I mean, also cartridges are expensive and all that kind of stuff for the 32 gig and 64 gig cartridges and stuff. But if you could sell it at least on the eShop, and they know that people are going to have 128 gigs or 64 gigs or something like that, then I think more third parties would be a little bit happier about that. Because like right now, if you're, I don't know, GTA or something like that, and you've got a 50 gig game, then there's just a lot of people that just aren't going to be able to buy it without having to jump through some loops.
I don't know about that though, because like if you buy your Switch from any actual store, and also even like an Amazon, it's going to say, yo, get an SD card. And you can get a SD card. I think like $25 or something like that for 256 gigabytes. So it's like, you're not going to get 256 gigabytes for $25 extra if Nintendo sells it to me.
No,
Not gonna happen.
absolutely not.
It's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
No.
So regardless of what they do, it would just be better for you to get an SD card anyway.
Yep.
But
Agreed. Yeah, Emily Rogers had some quotes about this whole thing, and she said probably we'd find out about it at some point in like August or something. So I guess we'll find out about it maybe in August. But if you're like really waiting for an upgrade of some sort, that's probably what you'd be looking for. But it's still, again, like you said, AJ, it's not going to be a Switch Pro in the traditional sense of like the screen's not getting any better.
It's not going to be now 1080p undocked and 4K docked.
Right.
You know, like it's not.
Yeah.
That's not going to be their focus. It's going to be
Yep.
maybe games will download faster.
Mhm.
You know, and like
your fan won't spin quite as often because mine spins quite often.
I
So
don't
like,
even notice it.
yeah,
I'm just, you know, I'm just down there and everybody, so I don't have time to think about fans.
true. Yep. So that's that. But yeah, interesting in any case. But all that's
what color are you getting for Ashley? Which
I
color
think
is
yellow
Ashley?
is what it's sounding like. So we'll go with that. I know.
man.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like that was what she wanted, and I was like, yeah, I don't know why the yellow looks so good, but it just does.
Yellow,
which is weird. I usually
wrong. It just seems wrong.
I don't disagree, but somehow
I'm getting if I get I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting because if I get it, it's probably going to be from Nintendo. Unless I get the Pokemon one. See, if I don't get it from Nintendo, I might get the Pokemon one.
Nice. Good call.
But if I get it from Nintendo, I don't think I'm gonna have a choice. It's just gonna be whatever they send me.
That's true.
Which
if they send you like 4, I'll take one.
It would be all 3. They'll send me all 3 of them, and then also the Pokemon one in November.
There you go.
I think there might actually be a chance that I could get the Pokemon one separately. Like I could still probably ask them for that.
I mean, ask away. That would be cool.
But I would like. I already know for a fact that I can't say, "Yo, Nintendo, I want all 3 color models." You know, like they're not going to do that.
Yeah,
but since that's a special edition sort of situation, it's another like promotional push for 2 different products. Then they usually do that. So,
yep.
So I'm gonna hit them up and see what they say.
Yeah.
If not, probably want to get the Pokemon one. Just because, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And we also know what you guys mean when you leave comments. So we're sticking my video in here kind of in the middle of the news cycle stuff because it relates to all this thing. So we got some comments that we're going to talk about. So SpectrumBots42 said, I play my Switch only as a portable, so the dock is obsolete to me, and I could care less about Labo. I just want to know if the battery life was improved or not, although the lack of a kickstand is rather questionable. On a side note, I realized something regarding the Switch Lite. Is it possible that this Switch model is a sign that the Switch is indeed the new flagship handheld line akin to the Nintendo DS Lite? Which color I like, you ask? The turquoise one.
That's the right one. That's the one to like.
If it was, I really want a deep blue or forest green something. Switch, Joy-Cons, whatever. One of those, that's what I want. Just saying. But yeah, good question in comments and stuff. I think interesting that the lack of the kickstand being questionable. I don't know. For some reason, that just makes sense to me. They'll have peripherals probably for like tabletop type situation.
There would be cases and stuff with the kickstand. Plus, the kickstand on the Switch is garbage anyway.
So. Yeah, it is.
One less thing to break.
So, but I think the bigger question, so is it possible that this Switch model is a sign that the Switch is indeed the new flagship handheld line akin to the Nintendo DS Lite?
I don't think they'll ever say that, but it was. I think that the sign that was the case was once Pokemon Company was like, yeah, new Pokemon games are going on the Switch. Like that effectively is like the seal of official Nintendo handheld. Once a Pokemon game's on there, that's the handheld.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're just in a new era now. You know, it's because it used to be that there was a home console and a handheld, and that's just not the case. So I think it is and it isn't both at the same time in equal measure, where it's like, the home console.
Not the thing that they do anymore.
Right.
It still fills that same niche.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you ask 2 different people, I mean, depending on which 2 people you ask, some people literally use it only in docked mode, and it's just a home console. And then this is still before the Switch Lite, so plenty of other people use it only handheld. Like, I mean, Justin, we just said earlier, I use it mostly handheld. I'm always going to want to at least do my boss, like final boss fights docked, just because like feels epic to like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's finish a game this way. That's always fun. But a lot of like grinding and stuff like that, like it's just fun to do handheld and sit on the couch and whatever. But
I go through
yeah.
phases because, like, when I first got my Switch, I was like 80% handheld.
Mm.
And then I got a bigger TV. Like,
Yep, same.
flipped it, it was
Mhm.
80% docked. And then I don't know, something came out, Pokemon probably. And then I started playing a lot like 50-50 because I preferred playing it docked because of the Pokeball Plus and it just has better motion controls.
Yep.
And then Smash Brothers came out, and then I was mostly docked. And then I got so
Mhm.
used to how Smash Brothers plays that it doesn't even matter, and I play handheld now just because it's easier.
Yep.
So it goes all over the place.
Yeah.
So to me, when I think of Switch, it 100% is both to me.
Yep.
Like
Same.
I don't have like this like one or the other. Like I mostly play dock. I mostly play
Mhm.
because it fluctuates depending
Yep.
on what game I'm playing the most.
I definitely, for myself, I wouldn't give up the ability to dock it
Mhm.
just at all. Like, even if I use it less, still like having that to bring over to friends' houses, if nothing else, or like Christmas or whatever, like any of that kind of stuff. And then I don't know, just it's just nice to have it. I mean, for myself as well. Like I like being a bit of an evangelist for it
Mhm.
theoretically. So being able to bring it to other people's houses without, and even doing the sharing the joy thing, like I remember doing that the first couple months or so before I got a second pair of Joy Cons. I just like went on a trip with some friends, and you know we played Mario Kart on it, and it was great.
Yeah.
So that stuff. But yeah, good comments, Spectrum Bots. Astral is off the chain. Says, I wish
Dope
this.
name.
I know. I wish this Switch was launched at same time as original Switch, since I use my Switch mostly as a handheld.
Ah,
Thoughts on that?
that would have been cool for the consumer, but I mean, it definitely works in Nintendo's favor to like, okay, 2 years down the line, here's another reason to start talking about Switch a lot
Yep.
and another huge boost in sales.
And I think it would have hurt the perception of the Switch too, because like we see it as a handheld home console hybrid
Mhm.
where it's both. But I think if it came out with this one as well, it would have felt like here's the like super handheld version, and here's a handheld version that I guess you can put on your TV or
I
whatever.
think, yeah, I think it would have hurt the perception in the sense that it would have confused people. I don't think it would have
Hmm.
made people like more negative on it. I think it just would have been okay, but like, which one do I
Yeah.
get?
Yeah.
But now, since there's been what 2.5 years or whatever of this is what Switch is, and then now this is also what Switch is.
Hmm.
People already have the idea of what Switch, like the mainline Switch is, and like what that looks like, and how
Hmm.
much it costs, and what that offers them, and stuff like that.
Yep.
So bringing in a new thing after they already have that established doesn't hurt it as much as if they did a whole bunch of SKUs. Like it's even like I think that even goes back to like Wii U,
Yeah.
where they had. I mean, yeah, they had the basic model and then the premium model or whatever, or deluxe, I think they called it,
Hmm.
the black and white one, and then just like half of the SKUs just were completely useless because everybody was like, "Well, I'm just gonna get the deluxe one." Like, why even get the basic?
Yeah.
Which I ended up having to get the basic because the Wii U was sold out when I bought mine,
What
and
a
I was like,
loser.
I'm not waiting a week. Give me the basic one.
What a sad time. Could you at least have expandable memory? Like, just plug in a hard drive or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good at least. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think you're right. For the consumer, it would have been cool to have that as an option, just to have a cheaper one. But I think just marketing wise and like for Nintendo, it does make more sense for them to have done it this way, and it like re-ups excitement and stuff like that, where it's like new things and like gets more people involved. So like if I were them, I would have done it the same way too, even though for a lot of people now this is what they wanted the whole time, was a cheaper one, that kind of thing. But nevertheless, next up, Captain Fatch, I don't know. something like that. I think my biggest question is, why do people want a regular Switch in the dock and a Switch Lite to take with them? The whole point of the Switch is that you can do both on one system. It's just really confusing to me why people still feel they need a totally different system to take with them. The Switch isn't heavy, it isn't super big, so I just don't get it. And actually, I responded to this. We talked about it a little bit, and we kind of landed on the same page as each other. But I just thought it was an interesting thing to talk about. So, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. Well, I'll let you know what my thoughts are. I don't think that most normal people feel that way. I think that it's like a very like like hardcore like base of users that feel like this is my traveling Switch and this is my home. So but
Uh-huh.
that's not like the thing that like people feel like it doesn't feel it's not something that's necessary. It's just something that you can do. So why not?
Yeah.
Like I know people that just have they have a traveling PS4 and it stays inside that, they have
Hmm.
like the laptop like screen thing where you plug in your HDMI, you plug it in the thing, you just plug it in the
Hmm.
wall, and then you're good. I know people that just have a PS4 just for that.
Man.
And this is basically that, just cheaper and
Yep.
more feasible.
Yep. I think, and I saw a number of comments that were people saying essentially like, "Oh, yeah, now I can feel like comfortable being out on like taking it out of the house with me." And I
Mhm.
think there's just some people that are more cautious with their things and more kind of
Yeah.
like careful and like don't want to. They feel like the Switch itself is too delicate
It's
or something.
$300, and they're
Yeah.
like, nah, that's $100 more than I'm willing to like walk outside with.
Yep, and that's 100% exactly what it is. Whereas I just don't feel that way, and obviously, Captain Fatch, you don't feel that way either, and that's totally fine. Because like, yeah, I bring it with me all the time,
Same.
everywhere. Literally in my backpack to go to work most days. Like, because I'm like, maybe I'll play at
Same,
lunch.
except not though. Not in my backpack. It's in my dock
Yep.
or like in my room somewhere,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, mine's just laying around all over the place all the time. So I think, but for some people, like it's enough of a difference for this one to feel comfortable risking that with, and it looks a
Yeah,
little bit sturdier and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you don't trust the regular Switch or a kid with the regular Switch, maybe you also just don't trust yourself with a regular Switch out and about.
right.
I don't know, but you do with the cheaper one. So,
I even
but
know people that
yeah.
don't bring their 3DS with them places though. So it's like I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
Some
I mean,
people
I
are
can
just weird.
also most of my pants, I can just put it in my pocket. Like I don't
Most
go out of the
people
house
can.
like that. But yeah, most like if I'm just carrying a bunch of stuff from like downstairs to upstairs in my house or whatever, I can just kind of slot it in my pocket and kind
Mhm.
of penguin walk, and it'll be fine.
Or if you got like a hoodie or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just bloop.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff. But and the last comment, this is a long one, 7. Thank you so much for your long comments again. We missed them. I think the Switch Lite is a secondary console, something you get for your kids, partner, or whoever in your life that's interested in the Switch, but have been kept away from it because the price. That being said, if you don't already have a Switch, are on a budget, travel a lot, or just don't care about TV mode, then the Switch Lite is a great alternative since it's basically a smaller Switch with less gimmicks, but still the same games. You can also buy extra Joy-Cons if you really need to for the games that absolutely require them. Regarding the Switch Pro, I still maintain that the OG Switch is the Pro model, i.e., the more expensive one that does everything. But if there
Mhm.
really is a legit Pro version with significant upgrades in terms of specs, I'd get that one for myself. Maybe trade in my current Switch for a discount if the store has that kind of deal, or give it to my mom so she can play Pokemon and Animal Crossing at work during lunch. Get my nieces eight
That's
and
dope.
yeah, get my nieces of age 8 and 7 a Switch Lite each, and my nephew 3 years old a 2DS for Christmas.
And I think that's
You got a lot of
exactly why the
yes,
3DS and 2DS still exists.
yep,
Because
exactly.
how many people would get their 3-year-old a Switch?
Right. I don't see myself getting a Switch Lite personally, though, since I already have an OG Switch and I've been using it like the totally realistic commercials since I got it at launch. I also enjoy playing games like Doom and Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate on big screen with the Pro Controller. Plus, I enjoy having options to enjoy my games in such different situations, which is what sold me on the Switch to begin with.
Right.
And I believe that's what the Switch Lite is, or also is in the end, an option. It's another way to, as Nintendo's marketing puts it, play your way, which will attract a wider audience to the platform and sell more software, which is ultimately where the real money comes from. And if it means I'll get to meet more people who enjoy the system or family of systems I love and make new friends that way, then it's all good.
Completely agreed.
Great
Um,
stuff.
I
I'm
think
all for it.
the biggest thing for this is that it's another option.
Yep.
And it's like Microsoft is really good at this, or is becoming really good at this, where they like Nintendo has always tried to do the whole like it's another pillar,
Yep.
but it doesn't really work that way. It's just usually two good options, and that's it. Where it's
Right.
like a DS Lite comes out, and it's like, oh, no reason to buy the last DS now.
Hmm.
The DS Lite is just the better one.
Yep.
Some would say the one that really started its trajectory, because the OG DS did okay, but once the DS Lite came out, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a thing now.
Yeah.
Um, Switch Lite, I feel like, is more akin to that Xbox One S or X, or
Hmm.
like that whole thing,
Yep.
where there's a version for you and there's a version for people that have less pressing needs, where it's like I just want to play the games and I don't really care how I play them, and because
Mhm.
I'm not that invested, it would be nice if I don't have to pay the extra $100.
Right.
Or maybe they do want a slightly more portable, and I say slightly,
Yeah.
italicized and bolded, because it's still a very big like I don't think I've ever once like been like, oh, I'm going to bring my 3DS with me, and like thought to put it in my pocket because that's the best place to put it.
Right.
Like if I'm going to bring my 3DS with me, I'm still going to put it in a bag, just like I would put a Switch in a bag.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and I think Switch Lite it's in that same situation, because it's like
Hmm.
slightly bigger than the Vita, which again is another console that when I had it, I was like, I'm not putting this in my pocket. You crazy?
I do wonder if also, because I think we'll get a lot more people in the door with the Switch Lite. People, I mean, like you just said, people that wouldn't have gotten a Switch anyway. I wonder if some of those people, some percentage, maybe like 25% or whatever, will get it and be like, "This is actually cool. Maybe I do want to play this on my
I'm gonna
TV."
dock this. Yeah.
And then, and then we'll like trade that in or something to get the regular OG Switch or something like that, because they're like, these games are just really cool and I want to play them on TV. Maybe that doesn't happen as much as I think it could, but like I feel like there's a lot of people that once they play these games on in this form factor, they just will really like it. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
Um, I think that is the way to do it for
Yep.
sure. It's like,
So
oh shoot, this would be dope to dock this thing.
yep. So it's interesting. I'm curious what all happens, especially with the like silent revision whenever that comes out, because that's something I like. Again, my fan's been really loud in mine for a while, and it's got just like a tiny crack at the top that's just annoying enough to be annoying. And so like if that happens, I'd consider getting a slight upgrade one. Um, I don't really care too much about it being like a pro version, although that would be nice down the road too. But yeah, if it's just a little bit better, I'd be fine with doing that to make mine run slightly better and not have fan issues. So good stuff. But that's about it for the Switch Lite and whatnot for now. I think some questions might come back to that. But also, this week we got a new Pokemon trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield,
Yep.
which I completely forgot that was this week because all the Switch Lite stuff. So yeah, so we learned about Gigantamaxing, version exclusive gym leaders, some 3 new Pokemon, I think. Well, one of them we already knew about, but Yamper we already knew about, but they just
From E3, but it was
yeah, we just saw it in there. But otherwise, All Creamy or whatever, Roly Coly, and Duraludon, and also so watching the Game Explain breakdown of it or analysis, there was some stuff in the Japanese direct that wasn't in the American direct, and was like they should have put in there because it was interesting. Where like we saw routes a little bit more, and we saw an area that I'm just curious and confused about. Go watch. It's right towards the end of their analysis video of it, so like you can check that out. But before we get to any of that, any thoughts on all that, AJ?
I think that this was kind of like the impact of it was lessened for me because a lot of it leaked. I
Yes,
saw
true.
that leak and I was like, oh yeah, so that leak was right.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I don't know if I would have been like Gigantamaxing. Oh my god, this is dope. Who would have thought? You know?
Yeah,
But it was just a thing of like I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. Like
yeah,
they were right about that. The version exclusive gym leaders is interesting.
yep.
I heard some people being like, is this something that we should be happy about? Like, doesn't this feel
Hmm.
like trying to force our hand at buying the other version? I don't know about that.
I think it's yeah, I like it because it means that kind of you have options and stuff. I don't know if it's for some
It
people. If yeah,
legitimately makes it different, and to
yes,
me that doesn't make me want to experience both. That makes me want to ask you, like, yo, how is that gym leader, bro?
yeah, it legitimizes the reason of having two different versions instead of just having one version. Pretty much, like yeah, just makes
Yeah, like if
sense.
anything, they should have always been doing this rather
Right? Yeah.
than like this being a change for the worse and like
Hmm.
something that they're trying to force our hand at.
Yeah. Because the I mean, nobody has to buy both versions of the game
Yeah,
ever. Like that's just not a thing you have to do. So like Um, but I mean, I understand some people feeling like you have to because I don't know if you're a completionist or something like that, and you just want to experience all the gyms. Sure, like I guess, but that's kind of on you, not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially because it's just a thing now. Like originally, it was just for trading Pokemon. Everybody was happy about it back in the day. Like I don't think that anybody complained that there was a red and green version, and then a red and blue version, and all that stuff. Like it's just been a thing that we've accepted.
People were less woke back then,
That's
Parker. People
right.
didn't complain about Pokemon cards either. But now we got loot boxes, which are basically Pokemon cards,
Yep.
but digitally.
Yep.
And
There
people
you go.
complain about that, you know? People still
Yep.
don't complain about Pokemon cards, but or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic
Uh,
or whatever, it's all the same thing.
I was just tweeting today. I would love to get like getting into Pokemon cards is so just scary. Like there's just so much stuff overwhelming or whatever. It's like there's just no way because
I
I've got
never
like an
had
old
issue like
collection.
yeah, like I have a lot of Pokemon cards.
Yep.
Never wanted to play it though, you know?
Yeah, I played a little bit. Honestly, I liked the Game Boy game a lot. I played that a whole
I
bunch.
had that, but I didn't play it. I mean, I played it. I played it before, but
Yeah.
I didn't play it actively.
Yeah.
The only card game that I was like, yeah, man, I'm in is Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that was the thing, you know?
It was,
Like it wasn't like this like slightly attached, like, oh yeah, there's cards of this thing that you
right.
like. It was
Yes.
the thing that they did, you
Mhm.
know?
I mean, that's like using Beyblades and watching Beyblade, like, except
Yeah.
for in that, they were like, "Look, there's dragons coming out of this
Yeah.
spinning top." You're like, "This one spins around."
Yeah, it's like there's like no difference though. Like
Yeah, it's bad and not good, but I love collecting Beyblades, man. Those
same.
are the days.
Yo, once you had the remote control ones, those were
I
dope.
bought that and it did not work. I don't know if mine was just jacked up, but
Mine
I was
worked, man. It was
so
faster, dude. It's
bad.
faster.
Okay.
You could
Man,
boost it.
mine must have been just broken because no, like I tried so hard to like fix it or whatever. I mean, I was 11, I didn't know anything, but I was just like trying to get it to do stuff, and it just sat there and spun around. I was like, "Cool,
Hey, dude,
thanks,
I had so many
bro."
Beyblades. I had so many Beyblade Stadium things, and they all got messed up because my parents stepped on them.
No.
Stepped on the stadium specifically, and they're like cheap plastic things. Like,
Yeah,
well,
no,
gotta
they're
get
garbage.
another one of these.
So
Um,
yeah,
so
I always wanted to have like the ones from the show that's like 7 feet wide and like
yeah, that
concrete
like
or
the
whatever.
indoor pool. You can use your indoor pool for Beyblade.
Oh man, yeah. Except for they didn't even exist that one year I lived there. But it's
Oh, yeah.
so,
Rip.
Dad, we're draining the pool. Like,
Yo,
whatever. Yeah.
Beyblades worked underwater in the show, I'm sure. So
That's
maybe they
true.
work underwater in real life. You never know.
So Gigantamaxing, yeah, I don't even know how I particularly feel about Dynamaxing. Like, it's cool. It's
It
whatever.
exists. It's
It,
there. But
but I mean,
Gigantamaxing, I feel like that should have been the thing that they were like, this is the new one. Because it's like Mega Evolution, but giant.
I don't see the thing is I don't even care that much about Mega Evolutions and stuff. Like, it's cool
How
just
dare you?
because it's like it's cool for the sake of being cool.
Yeah.
But it just feels a little forced too. But I don't really care. It's fine. It's cool. So like, I
It
feel like
does.
Gigantamaxing and all that's the same thing. Like, I know that it's just a power creep mechanic. Like, it's just something to make it to be like, look at this cool stuff we're doing.
Yeah. See, I
So
feel
that's
it's weird because it's like it feels like it could be the equalizer, like the thing that makes other
Right.
Pokemon. Like if you want to just play the whole game with your Squirtle, it's the one thing that will put your Squirtle on the same level of a lot of the other Pokemon that are
Yep.
viable. But they can also do it, so it
Yeah.
kind of like completely destroys that possibility. And also Gigantamaxing is just the better version of that, and
Right.
it's not like every Pokemon will be able to do that, so that creates a whole nother class of Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
eh.
Do you have a preference of the two version exclusive gym leaders? Do you have a preference between the two?
I like Sword's dope.
Do you
the
mean or
the
just
shield
in general, or like the fighting girl? Wait,
the
she's
fight
sword, right?
yeah, the fighting, both,
Yeah, they're
both.
both cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Version exclusive like I feel like if I like the shield gym leader or whatever more, then I'd be like, okay, cool, I'll probably get shield. But because like the Pokemon matter less because you could just
right.
trade them.
Yeah, right.
But so far, Sword's looking like the right choice still.
Yep, it is looking good. I like sword.
Well, rip you because
I know.
you're getting chilled, Bucko.
It'll be good.
That's what you're
All
trying
this
to.
stuff.
You're trying to guide my hand. You're like, oh, Gooter's in shield. You try to get me. You try to cut me off at the knees. You try
That's
to clip
right.
my wings.
Duraludon, straight up head looks like a Pez dispenser.
But he's
So,
busted though. Like what? Dragon
oh yeah,
Steel is stupid. Like that's
and
dumb.
he's like apparently real fast or something for being steel and all that, which is
That's
interesting.
busted. Like
Hmm.
he looks stupid, but looks like he's going to be a real good Pokemon, and everybody's going to have him on their
Yep.
team just because he's real
He's
good.
not even any kind of like legendary or anything, right? He's just a standard,
He's just
straight
a
up Pokemon.
standard Pokemon. It looks like he might be like a third of all form because like he's another one of those. What is that Pokemon called?
Are you thinking like a Tyranitar type?
No, well, possibly, but I was more so thinking about what is his name? It's the new Pokemon, the bird, the
Corviknight?
demon bird. Yeah, Corviknight, that's his name.
I got you.
How they only show or have shown high leveled Corviknights, so it probably means that he's like a second of all
Yep.
form or first of all form or whatever. Like he's
Hmm.
not like the base evolution.
Yep.
That might be the case with this because from what I saw, they only show high level versions of him too.
Interesting. That makes sense. And then Roly Poly and All Creamy.
They exist. They're fine.
They exist. Roly Poly's fun. It has some cool like move type things or whatever. Where I can't remember what it is, but something about when water happens, it does a thing or whatever. But what was interesting with me was again in the Japanese direct, the thing I was talking about a little bit
Yeah, that's
earlier.
dumb. I had to confirm this because I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Off the top of my head,
he-
that
he-
gives this freaking Pez Dispenser Dragon it's neutral damage against ice now,
yep,
dragon,
yep.
fairy.
Goodness,
So
broken.
wait, like what? No, wait. This I don't think steel resists fairy, so it's still weak to fairy, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so it's weak to fairy, but it's also strong against fairy. So like, come on, like that's wild.
Yep.
So what? Fighting in fairy is like the strat against this thing.
Yes.
Um, I don't know if dragon resists fighting. I don't think it
Is
does.
that the first steel dragon type that we've got?
I think so.
That's fun to have new type
New
combos.
busted type combinations.
Yeah. um, but yeah, I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on the so again, if in that Japanese direct thing, there were a couple bits that I thought were interesting. One of which was we saw some like routes and stuff, and they're overworld Pokemon.
Oh, Dialga, he's steel dragon.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. And that was
Well,
before
he's
Fairy
still
even.
dragon. Is the dragon thing? Is he dragon steel or still dragon? I don't know how much that matters. I don't think it matters at all, really.
I don't think it matters anymore. I think Gen 1 was the only time that did matter. Could be wrong about that because I think they messed that up a little bit.
But yeah, that type is stupid. I don't think it really matters as much with Dialga because he's a legendary. So like,
Right.
it's only
He's banned from
legal
stuff
and
anyway.
yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Yep.
see.
We will see. It'll be interesting. So those things. So my actual question, AJ, which you keep ignoring because talking about stupid Steel Dragon Pokemon. The thing, the Japanese Direct. Yeah, the 2 bits I thought were interesting was
the
one,
free roaming Pokemon thing.
free roam Pokemon in areas that looked like routes with tall grass, like we've seen before. It looked like there were some free roaming Pokemon there. So I was like, what's that all about? Interesting. And then the other bit was the girl trainer was in a cave, and it just the way the camera angle was, and there were also some roly polies in there. Either seemed like maybe it's underground in a town, something like that, and like the camera angle made it look like it was something that you could control, just because it seemed like a weird camera angle placement. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was that's just the way it was there. And the fact that there's the roly-polies there again too. So like, are there wild Pokemon in not the wild area, like in the overworld? Because they pretty much explicitly seemed to say that was the only place that there would be overworld Pokemon.
Yeah, both of those things.
And
like, it sounds like wild area was exclusive, like free roaming Pokemon and the controllable camera sounded like it's something that was exclusive to the wild area from the way that they described it.
So, which, I mean, again, like the way they said it doesn't necessarily mean doesn't have to mean that, in the sense that they could have just said like, look, and in this area you can do these things, and then just not even mention like you can do it in other places too. But it's like to excite us about the wild area, which again, that's the only spot that they showed in the E3 gameplay and stuff like that. So but anyway, very interesting. I'll have to watch it again to look more closely at it, but very curious about that in any case, because that would be really exciting.
Specifically, like the free roaming Pokemon inside the cave wouldn't super surprise me, because it could just be like either a cinematic thing or just because they have technically free roaming Pokemon in caves in older games, but they're not like encounterable Pokemon.
They're NPC type Pokemon.
Exactly. So it could
which
be like
could very well be, especially the context of this being just 2 roly-poly in front of like a minecart basket kind of thing, like makes sense those would be like, yeah, if you're in Celadon City or something, there's a dude with his Poliwrath. It's like, hey, look, I got a Poliwrath or whatever. And you can't fight that Poliwrath. But yeah, I'm very curious about that. So we will find out. But yeah, any last thoughts on
November?
We will. Maybe earlier. I feel like Gamescom, we could learn some more things. That's coming up in about a month or so. Actually, hang on. What are because I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. Oh, yeah, right around that time. So it's August 20th through 24th, and I'm going to be in your neck of the woods that week at some point. And also I'll be up in New York, so maybe might meet up with Bob and Will, perhaps, if that can happen.
Izzy was supposed to be. I think we were talking about. Yeah, well, you know what? We'll talk.
We'll talk. It'll be fun. But yeah, any last thoughts on Pokemon stuff? All that news and whatnot.
Cool. I know you wanted to. I mean, do you want to talk about the controversy and stuff?
I don't know. I put it in there, but like
you can skip past it. Everybody's dumb. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Get over it. We'll get to Pokemon. They'll be in Pokemon Home. You could just leave them in there until they have a game that you could use all of them. It's fine. Everybody will live.
Yep.
Good. For all we know, they just cut out 4 Pokemon, and that is still enough for them to say, hey, there's 4 Pokemon in the game anymore, but they're Pokemon that nobody cares about. Even you. Go ahead and say that you care. But you don't, and we know you don't, because we see the data, and literally nobody ever catches this Pokemon other than to put it in their box.
Yep.
Moving
That's pretty much, I feel, a gentler way of the exact same thoughts. So I think it'll all be fine. People are freaking out, and it's fine. You can freak out all you want, but we're still all going to get the game, and we're all going to like it, I think, in any case. So whatever. It'll be a good game. I'm excited about it. Fire Emblem previews. This is just a quick one. I know you probably don't care a whole lot about this, but I've only listened to Game Explained.
Just exists for me, you know, where it's like I'm probably going to play it just so I can like be in the know with
Uh-huh.
the kids and the youth.
I don't know how many kids
But
are going to be playing Fire Emblem. I
with the
mean, some
youth,
for sure, but
but it's not like a game that I'm like, man, I can't wait until what
July
freaking
20th.
July 26th. Is that when it's coming out?
That's the one.
Uh yeah, I'm not sitting here like I can't wait till this game. I'm more excited for Marvel than I am for this game.
Yep.
Which is to say, not a whole lot. Next game that I'm like, yo, I can't wait to play the game is what, Zelda?
Yep. What about Astral Chain? How are you feeling about that?
Oh yeah, that does come out before.
That
Comes
does.
out in
That's
August.
August 30th.
Yeah, never mind. And that's the next game I'm most
There
excited
was
for.
something else too. Oh, I feel bad. Wolfenstein Youngblood comes out the same day as July
Eh,
yeah, I don't care about it at all, to be honest. But it's, I mean, Fire Emblem is gonna
yeah,
destroy that, unfortunately, on the Switch. Sorry about it, y'all.
yeah.
But in any case, GameXplain did their preview. I listened to it all, and I'm very excited. I was already excited about it, but just like sounds like it's just doing things right. So I'm happy.
What did they say? They said it's even more RPG. Like
It's even
it's like chess. It's just like chess.
so. I think so. I've said on here before, but it bears repeating. I haven't played a Fire Emblem game before, so
How
this will be
dare
my
you?
first.
Also, I'm a
Um,
bigger Fire Emblem fan. I played what 2 Fire Emblem games.
nice.
I'm the biggest.
So
I'm fanatixfour's resident Fire Emblem fan.
there you go. I mean, Justin probably still he doesn't.
Him too. Yeah, never mind. He wins.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah. I mean, long story short, I think the like school type mechanics things are the biggest change. Having like the monastery to walk around and all that kind of things, like having a character to, do activities in besides just having combat and story beats.
Yeah.
Sounds like, again, I haven't played the other one, so I'm pretty sure that's the case. You weren't able to like walk around open areas before, correct?
No. You could. There was like some of that in Echoes, I think it's called,
Mm-hmm.
the 3DS
The
remake
Echoes
thing.
of an Elusive
Yeah,
Age.
but it's not the same.
Oh,
Well, no,
that's
that's like
that's
no,
Dragon Quest.
that's some other
Fire
stuff.
Emblem, yeah.
That's some other weeb nerd stuff. But
Which I'm also very excited about. Just saying.
what weeb nerd stuff or this Dragon Quest
Well,
weeb nerd
both.
stuff?
Come on.
Okay. Uh, but no, it's like Echoes, Shadows of Lynches,
Yeah,
and
that's the one.
some
Yep.
crap like that.
Uh-huh.
Some nerd stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. I think there was like a limited amount of that stuff, but it's not like to this extent.
Yeah.
Um,
And it sounds like it's being done well in here for whatever that's worth.
all I
All the
know is
characters.
Koei, Tecmo, Koei. People
Yep.
like switching their names around. Bandai Namco,
Namco
Bandai.
Bandai. Yeah.
That whole nonsense. But yeah, they're helping with this game.
Mhm.
So neat. I didn't know that
Yep.
until I saw like an interview like way after the fact. I don't remember them saying that at E3. Maybe I just tuned Fire Emblem out.
I think we've known that we've known it for a good while because I remember probably in like February of this year, sometime around then.
I didn't even was paying no attention to that then.
Yep, there you go. But I don't know if it was like big news or whatever. I just remember hearing it somewhere because I remember people complaining about the graphics for it. I guess it was when we first got the gameplay I mean, I guess that was last year. I don't know, whatever. But at some point, people were like, the graphics going to suck. And like Koei Tecmo's helping with the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, it's still work in progress, but looks pretty good to me. So whatever. But yeah, that game looks exciting. I'm ready. That is all.
Exciting.
Yep. That's the end of the news bits. And then now we got your video from this week.
My video all about video game controllers and buttons and sticks.
Buttons and sticks.
Yeah.
So here we go. So from Falcon, what I would like. Wait.
I asked, hey, let me know if you have any ideas that you want for the channel because I like a lot of my videos. I like randomly being like, I want to like mess with the format a little bit. Like, let me do something different.
Yeah.
That's what I did with this one. Where it's like, I'm going to do something kind of different.
Nice. So Falcon in that case says, what I'd like to see would be a multiplayer action point. I know we have the podcast every Saturday, but I love it when Bob comes on every once in a while on an action point. I think it would be pretty cool to have a joint video with both you and Parker. Hey, that's me. It would be a great way to fill that Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time shaped hole that's left in my heart. Sad crying face.
Falcon was hurt deeply
Mm.
by the Wednesday thing,
Uh-huh.
which is interesting because we're doing 3 videos a week for what? Like,
Uh,
not even like two
like
full
2
months.
months, maybe.
Not
Yeah.
even, because, like, officially, like, it was supposed to be that, but
Hmm.
due to things that we'll get to, it did not. It
Yeah.
ended up not being that. Like,
Right.
still Thursday videos were missing and like that whole thing. But I don't know, like I'd
Hmm.
be interested in doing that, but I don't know how the workflow would be for that.
Hmm.
I don't, like
Yeah.
I don't
We
understand how
figured
we
out. I
like
think we'd have to just plan a little bit more ahead. Maybe it would
yeah,
be an even more in-depth one or something like that. So,
right.
but I'd be down, all
Because
things considered.
like I feel like if we did like a sort of thing where it was like more list video sort of situation where we could like segment it and be like, I want to talk about this and you
Yep.
talk about this, and then we'll split it up like that, and then
Mhm.
meet in the middle wherever it makes sense.
Yep.
Um, that would be the easiest way to like divide the workload without it cutting in our other videos and like having to like actively like send stuff back and forth. I'm like, this is the script so far, and then you read it and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, here's the script again. Okay, then I read it, and then here's the script again. Like it could
Mhm.
just be a thing where it's like I write my part, you write your part, and then we look it over together and say, okay, this works.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that could possibly be something that we do in the future.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Good stuff. Spectrum Bots 42. Look at that. Both videos you got in here. Good job, man. Um, so the
And your
question,
video had a lot of comments. Your video
true,
has like almost 100 comments.
nice. Question was, is a perfect controller possible? I don't think that's possible considering we all have different hand sizes and ergonomics differ from one person to the next. From the arcades to the consoles, every game is designed around a specific control scheme such as joysticks or trackballs. Additionally, some games do a sort of hybrid control scheme such as Meteos via the speeder. I don't know what Meteos is, but
It's a
Meteos.
game, Parker, about
Okay, sure.
meteors and whatnot.
Nice. Via using the speeder by holding down the DS's shoulder buttons while using the touchscreen to launch blocks, or playing Pikmin 3 with the Wiimote and with the gamepad acting as a monitor. My favorite controller is the Xbox One controller, as one can use it via USB cable, which means batteries aren't needed anymore.
Yeah, I agree with all of this.
Yep.
I did also think that that was like it's weird because it's like there's so many things that go into like what makes somebody like a controller more than others.
Hmm.
Um, and I think for the most part, like a lot of articles and stuff put that kind of spin on it as if Nintendo's like this, our next controller, it's going to be the one that you use. But I think that they were more so talking about controller inputs. So
Mm,
like the next motion control or the next second analog stick, like
right.
that sort of situation. And
Mhm.
it's just harder to talk about that and say like, what is that though? Because
Like
like,
a scroll wheel or something along those
yeah,
lines. Like, I
because like
think,
a lot of the stuff that we know of that they're like toying with as far as patents go, they're more useful for UI. But I wouldn't say that that's something that's like a game design thing. Like they
yeah.
have the scrollable triggers.
Hmm.
And I mean, I guess you could use them in gameplay, but they're more so useful for
Yeah.
UI, I would say.
I
Um,
think, I mean, that's the thing is I don't know. It's just hard because at this point there's so many games, like they want to get the normal games, and like they just don't want to repeat the Wii. I think we kind of talked about this last week podcast, but they don't want to repeat the Wii mistake again where they're like, "All right, you've got to like dumb your game down to be able to do it the
right.
way our thing does it." And then a bunch of third parties are like, "I don't really want to do that. It's not going to be
Yeah.
a good game." And then some people are
And then
like, "This
also
one doesn't do it well."
they probably want to avoid the opposite.
Yeah.
Where it's like they don't want to complicate things too much, where it's
Hmm.
like it could be like a controller input that's more like hardcore, like, yeah, man, like this would
Hmm.
work for the PC gaming crowd sort of situation. But
Yep.
then it would make it too complicated for everybody else.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I think Spectrum Bot, your comment on that, like some games are just better fitted for some control schemes or whatever. Like again, I think you brought this up in your video, AJ, or at least it was talked about recently. But like Mario Maker 2, for example, that like it's people just liked the control scheme better for making the levels on the Wii U touchpad, which is
yeah,
like nobody. That was like one of the only
Nobody would
games
ever say the Wii U
gamepad.
was their favorite, like their favorite controller to
Yeah,
game.
but for that game, there you go. Like
Yeah,
that. So I think you're totally right. It's just like there's some games that just fit the thing that they're built for, and then other ones where that's just not the game. I mean, like some
right.
people really like Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword with all that stuff, and then other people didn't. So,
Yeah, and
you know.
I mean that's why I said in the video that it's like for Nintendo, like maybe if Xbox or like Sony or PlayStation, I guess,
Hmm.
said that they were like we're working on the perfect controller and stuff like that, that would make more sense to me. That
Hmm.
they would say something like that because
Yeah.
all their controllers and games kind of have the same rationale,
Yeah.
you know.
It's
Whereas
just to improve
Nintendo,
ergonomics of the same functions.
yeah, whereas Nintendo is like we're just gonna make a game and if the concept for this game doesn't fit the control input that we have, we're making a new one. you know?
Yeah.
So like for Nintendo to say that and then also have their like development like
Hmm.
philosophy, it just kind of conflicts where one day they'll wake up and be like, you know what? We're gonna make a game that you control with your eyeballs, like there's not a controller for
Uh-huh.
that, so they would have to make a new controller.
Yep.
It's just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
I'm curious to see what happens with that for sure. And next up, Christoph Skalski. Hello, Christoph. I almost picked
Uh,
one of your comments
I
for.
think Bob still doesn't know how to say his name.
I I tried one week and then
And then he said, "That's
he
right."
said, "That's what he did." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
cool. No, I'm good." So yes, Christoph, what's up? My favorites are Xbox 360 controller and Nintendo's Pro controller. D-pad on 360 kind of sucks, but I
True.
use it on my PC where I rarely play 2D platformers.
Oh,
Nintendo Pro controller.
they have the one with the switchable. They have the Xbox 360 thing, and it's like you turn it around and it has like the other D-pad. It's still kind of garbage, but it's better.
Interesting. Nice. Nintendo Pro Controller is near perfect for me. It could also have a little better D-pad. One thing I would love that probably will never happen is the same button layout on both Xbox and Switch controllers. When I switch between them, I'm always screwed up for an hour or two until I remember that A is B and B is A. That's true.
I don't know. I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that never has that problem.
I guess, I mean, just depending on what kinds of games you
Because I
play, like,
just don't think of it like that,
yeah.
Like,
If
when
you
I'm
play
thinking
mostly
of
like,
whatever game I'm playing, I don't think, "Oh, I gotta press A." I'm thinking I have to press the button that's on this part of the controller,
yeah.
you know?
If you're playing a
Um
bunch of like RPGs though, I could see that being like where it's mostly menu based stuff. If
Yeah,
it's a
but even
confirm and
then, it's like
cancel,
the controller usually like, especially with Nintendo games, like, they don't just show with the button, like, they don't just say, "Press X." They
right?
say, "Press X," and then they show you the button on the top of the control like, on the top of
Yeah.
the, like,
I think like the one that I'm thinking of is Dark Souls because it
mhm,
still uses the kind of setup from like B is select and A is back kind of
yeah,
thing. So
uh-huh.
they don't switch it, which is just annoying. So like, it's left on the same mechanics as Dark Souls on Xbox or whatever. But every time I'm going through menus, I have to like remind myself, like, okay. I mean, eventually I get into the groove, but
Yeah.
that kind of
I
thing
don't know.
is.
I feel like I probably have that same thought process, but it's just not in the front of my mind. It just
Yeah,
subconsciously happens where I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I'm
right.
playing Switch now, and this is what I got to do, or I'm
Hmm.
playing Xbox now, and this is what I got to do.
Yep.
I never really have that issue of like I know some people are like, yeah, I can't play like my brother. He likes Madden
Hmm.
a lot, so people always come over his house and be like, yo, I'll smack you in Madden. And then he'd be like, they were like, "Oh, you got the station version. I'll play it on the box." I
Yeah,
can't. They're like, "No, man, I can't do." I'm like, "It's the same thing. It's the same
yeah.
thing."
Oh
So
man.
I don't know. Never got
Yep. I guess it's like if I had to switch my left click and right click for like on my mouse at home and at work, I would get really confused. But yeah, with like regular games, that especially like platformer type, I don't know. It's a thing. But I'm with you for myself at least with the kinds of games that I'll play sometimes, RPGs and stuff. I would get pretty confused switching
That
between two.
said, the thing that recently has been, like I gotta kind of recalibrate my brain a little bit is going from Smash Brothers to Mario Maker. I'm like,
Oh
wait,
yeah,
what? Like jump is what?
yeah.
So that I have like a quick moment of like, okay,
I had the same thing with Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey,
yeah.
where Breath of the Wild jump I think is Y or X I think it was Y,
I,
and then Mario Odyssey was A because that's the jump button. So I was like going back into Breath of the Wild. I was like, what? Back
Yeah,
in
I
the day.
went to the like the Switch like premiere event thing in
Mhm.
New York. And half my time demoing that game was me throwing my sword across the room because I'm like, oh, bro, that's the wrong button.
Oh, I need to play Breath of the Wild again. It's so good. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine from high school that I haven't talked to in forever because I said something about Breath of the Wild when the sequel was announced on Facebook or whatever, and he commented, he was like, "Man, I hated Breath of the Wild." I was like, "I'd
Jesus.
love to hear more." And he like loves Zelda and stuff, and so he like sent me a whole essay about it, and I read it, and I was like, honestly, like all these things, I agree with all your criticisms. Most of them are just ones I happen to not really care about, but I'm like, yeah, I'm with you on those. It's my favorite game of all time, but like
Let me
I agree
guess.
with all the.
It's not the dungeons. The weapons breakable is
It wasn't
annoying.
weapons
The
available, but yeah,
rain. Huh?
dungeons, progression just felt not right. Like different things like that, which is like, yeah, those are all
So
valid
basically,
criticisms.
like most of the criticisms that I see is that it's not the same as all the other Zelda games, which I
Yeah,
think is a weird criticism.
yeah,
Where it's like I don't know, like I don't really judge that, especially since I'm usually on the side of like change all of
right.
it,
Yeah, exactly.
except for the core.
Yep.
Like what makes the game, uh, like as far as theming goes, not
Hmm.
so much like Star Fox is a dog fighting game, and that's
Yeah,
it.
right.
It's more
Exactly.
so like
It's like,
it's
what's
the
the world?
character. Yeah, exactly, like
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
What
What
mechanics would
makes
fit that?
sense for for what this game is
Yep.
thematically.
Which that's
Um,
why I'm really excited about the sequel to Breath of the Wild because I feel like they're going to take the mechanics and kind of world and engine and stuff that I really, really liked from this game,
and
but
then mix it with the
re-implement
old
story
crap.
things and
Yeah,
take some. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, we talked about the dungeons last week, but the fact that they're all kind of samey. I liked that the shrines were all samey, but with the
because it
dungeons,
makes
it was
sense. Yeah,
actually kind of annoying. Where I was like,
yeah.
come on, like it would just be nice
Like
for these
this
to
is
be a little
supposed
bit
to
more
be a
memorable.
big deal. This is supposed to be the thing,
Yeah, if
and
they
it's the
didn't
same as the last thing.
Yeah, if they didn't promote them as dungeons, I think I would have been fine. If it's just like there's bigger trials you have to face in these things, like I would have been okay with that. But there were some shrines that felt almost bigger than, besides the boss fight part, that almost felt bigger than the dungeons themselves.
Mhm.
So whatever.
I mean,
But
the dungeons were effectively just
giant shrines.
four
Yeah,
or five shrines
yeah.
combined.
So yeah, good stuff. Mr. Meach says, "Good video, AJ. I'm a
Thanks.
PC gamer at heart."
What?
You said thanks. I just wanted to let Mr. Meach know that you were thankful.
Yeah, but you laughed. What's so
I
funny
did.
about
I don't
thanking
know. It
Mr.
was just
Meach?
I just laughing. It's what I
How
do
dare you?
best. I'm a PC gamer at heart, so my preference is mouse and keyboard. When it comes to controllers, though, they're all so good these days. They're all so good these days. I personally like the Xbone
See,
controller.
that part is interesting
Yeah,
because he's like, I like keyboard and mouse. Controllers are good. You know, like I didn't think that was going to follow. I thought it
right.
was going to be like controllers suck because I like keyboard and mouse.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah, continue.
Yeah, I personally like the Xbone controller out of the current console gen, but I don't hate the PS4 or Switch controllers. I like the idea of modular potential with the Joy Cons though, and it's a shame that it's not capitalized on more. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen the mock-ups fans have done of things like Joy Cons modeled after SNES or GameCube controller or whatever.
Yep.
That would be a great world. Just mix and match Joy Cons to find the set that best fits you and the games you play. And then different size grips available to fit any sized hands. I don't really see that happening anytime soon, though. I'm looking forward to seeing what Nintendo has up their sleeves, however.
Yeah, like I'm kind of surprised that they haven't really like just generally with
Yeah,
the Switch, like it has a lot of accessory potential and they haven't really utilized that much.
I agree 100%. Even smaller docks. Like,
Yeah.
why haven't we seen smaller docks? I don't know. But like with the controllers thing, I love the Joy-Cons. Like I just play with the Joy-Cons. Like that's just
So
all I do.
I said because you commented that
Uh-huh.
and I said this jokingly, sort of, but I basically was like, I like the Joy-Con in theory, which I do,
Because of
you
penis.
know, like I like the idea of Joy-Con, but like in practice, they're not perfect, you
Hmm.
know, like obviously the D-pad and that whole thing, but
Yeah.
also like the analog sticks have like limited range of motion compared to like Pro Controller, and even that is not like that analog stick isn't perfect. And also the obvious like drifting issue and like
Right.
they develop dead zones and like that whole thing. So like that sucks.
That
But
does suck.
like the idea of them is cool, and like being able to like, hey, like I don't have my other controller, but like we can still play this game. Here it is, like
Yep.
that's neat. Also like I always like the whole like gimmicky stuff,
Mhm.
like the IR camera and stuff like that, because there's just more things that they can do design wise to come up with cool games.
Yep.
Which like I put the quotes up near gimmicky because like literally anything that like makes somebody want to buy something is a gimmick by
Right.
definition.
Yeah.
Like saying like this is 4K 60 for 120 frames per second or whatever. That's a gimmick.
Yeah.
But people wouldn't describe it that because as that because it's like the more traditional like gamers thing, to
Mhm.
want something like that. That's like the required part of it.
Mhm.
But for me, something that is required for me to like feel like this is next gen is like it's a new way to play something. It's
Yeah.
not just a prettier version of how to play whatever. And in that regard, I think the Joy-Con are cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, they have flaws.
I definitely agree on the D-pad thing, and especially even if they put a D-pad where the buttons are, I don't think I'd use it because it's just in an awkward position where like
Yeah.
I don't want to hold it like down like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and I just use the joystick for 2D platformers and all that kind of stuff
Oh,
as well. It's
dang.
just what I've gotten
Okay.
used
So do
to where,
I.
yeah. So it's just, since I've gotten used to it, I just don't really think twice about it. I'm sure I would be better precision wise or whatever if it weren't for that, but I don't really
Yeah.
care to find out.
I
Like,
feel
I
like the
just rather
biggest part
keep with what
of
I
it
come for.
is placement. Like even if
Yes.
they had the split D-pad or whatever, if they
Hmm.
moved it up a little bit,
Yeah.
it would probably be better.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do, man?
Yep. What are you gonna do?
I mean, just in general, like even for the split Joy-Con, the configuration of it is weird.
Hmm.
Cause like, I don't know, I don't have it in my hand, but I think it's like the left one. Like the left one is weird, or maybe it's the right one. I don't know. One of them, the analog stick is like in the middle, and that's
Yeah,
like,
the right one, it's
yeah,
pretty low down,
that's
which like
very strange.
depending on what games you're playing is more annoying or not annoying.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah, no, for sure. I've just gotten
mm,
used to it, and so like I think that's part of it. Like you just get used to what you get used to. But I like
yeah,
them in any case. I mean, I legitimately like the whole this thing where you're like playing with one in each hand and like laying around like that. That's all the time for me. If I'm ever playing docked, I've just got my hands completely separated. Like I don't sit in front like that just because it's just how I do it. Sorry, y'all. That's the way it is. And that's the way it is with these comments. Leave comments on our videos and we'll talk about some of them, especially the interesting and good ones.
and if you love our videos, especially like even if it's just a comment of like great video,
Yep.
just like because I know like as a viewer, like I'll think that and it's like great video. And I won't comment it because it's like they know I think it's a great video. They know I subscribe and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
YouTube's algorithm doesn't give us credit for that. And they
Yep.
suppress our videos because they think you don't like our videos as much as you maybe do, but don't comment because you already assume that we know that.
True. Yeah, YouTube just in all like transparency or whatever, YouTube has not been helpful to this channel
Yeah, not a
pretty much
great
like since
friend
I've
as of
been
late.
involved. I part of that I think was a little bit my fault at the beginning, and then now it's just YouTube's just holding a grudge, and it's
Yeah.
just a bit annoying because like I mean, not like it's going to stop us
Yeah.
from continuing to make
No.
content and all that stuff, but it's just frustrating when
It's definitely a bummer where it's like I feel like we're making the best stuff that this channel has ever made,
right.
And I
Yeah.
think the videos are better than they have
Mhm.
been in the past.
Yep.
And we're being rewarded for that in some metrics, like as far as like average viewer retention and that sort of
Mhm.
thing. Like that shows that people like the videos because they're watching more of them.
Yep.
But like we don't see that in like the viewership. Like we could have a video that like in terms of like how much they watched it is like less than half of
Mhm.
what they do now. And back in the day, like what 6 months ago, it would get 70,000 views.
Yeah,
And
right.
now it'll get like 1% of that just
Yep.
because YouTube's algorithm's like, nah, we don't like you as much anymore.
Yep. So that's
So if
lame.
you like
And
this
especially because it's
channel,
your full-time
hey,
job, like that's
yeah, it's rough.
it's
It's
lame
rough.
that happens. So
But yeah, that'd be great. It's just a
behind
great
the
way
curtains.
to support the channel. Also, like on the same topic, I want to go into Sam Diaz's comment first.
Yeah, go for it.
So what, you want me to read it? This is your
Go for it.
job
Yeah.
to read.
Sam Diaz says, "Here's my question. As long as it's not personal, where's Logan?"
Uh, I mean, I didn't really like. I don't think we straight up said like this is the situation. Even on the podcast, I think we
I thought we
probably.
did, but maybe not. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But obviously, like,
If
there's
not,
going
here
to
we go.
be like people in pockets that like
Miss
jump
one
in and
episode.
out and like like they don't see every video and stuff like that. So again, Logan a while ago, what, last month now, a month and a half or something
Something
like
like
that,
that. Yeah.
text me and basically was like, hey, I don't think I'm a good fit for the channel anymore. I can't be consistent. That's hurting us, which is true. So I'm just done. So that's what happened. Logan was basically like, I'm done. And I was like, okay. So yeah, no hard feelings or anything like that. Ultimately, I feel like this is better as far as like our friendship, if that's what you're like worried about.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. It's better than it would have been otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the channel was a strain on that in that way. Because like we both knew that in that regard, like he was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it just was like, so better. As
Yeah.
far as like content and stuff like that, I don't know. Maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe Logan will want to make YouTube videos again. I don't know if it's. I don't. It's not going to be on the channel. Can't happen because YouTube doesn't like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I don't know. We'll
Mm-hmm.
let them know that you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
On to the rest of the comments.
Good stuff. Yeah. So hopefully Sam Diaz, that answers your question in full. I would imagine it does. Falcon says, I love listening to you guys. Oh, these are the comments, by the way, from last week's podcast. So if you have comments on the podcast, leave them in the comment section down below on YouTube, and we'll bring some of them up next week just to talk about. Falcon says, I love listening to you guys together on Saturday mornings. It really makes the first part of my day that much better. You boys are awesome.
Thanks,
bro. I was just saying last week, I don't remember if I tweeted it or just thought about tweeting it, but I had to mow the yard last week, which is where I got poison ivy, which was why I did not have my face on the video this week. But it's sad that now, like, I mean, I could listen to this podcast, but like it used to be the thing that was like, I'm going to mow my yard and listen to directly to you.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm probably not going to do that anymore just because I don't want to listen to my voice for 2 hours. But it is
my voice. You could have did that, but your voice.
So that stuff that was just nice. So I wanted to throw it in there because
I was definitely going to put that in there regardless. I did respond to this comment. I appreciate that people like this podcast, and it's the main reason why I do it, because I do see comments like that where this is the thing I do on Saturday mornings, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So I don't want to mess up your routine.
Yeah. And even if it's not like, I don't know how many people it is altogether, but like, it's not like it's a couple hours.
It's
out of
like
our
a couple hundred people altogether with podcast services and all that.
Yep. So I mean, if it means that much to you guys, then that's awesome, and we're very excited about doing it, and it's fun. I mean, also, like, if it weren't for this, AJ and I, like, we
wouldn't talk as much. We would just do DMs and.
I mean, that's pretty much it. No, let's I feel like you lose some of the community thing that way, where it's just all like, hey, did you have this picture or what? We don't talk about that.
We were just like, I mean, we would probably feel like, I feel like as far as like, state of the channel and that sort of thing, we would probably do that more often, because like sometimes, like, well, we did it once so far, but we're basically like, okay, what's going on with the channel? What do we want to do? We would probably do that more often, but I feel like we get bits and pieces of that before and after the podcast, so like we don't feel as like
same, disconnected or whatever.
It's good. So I think that also helps, like, with our chemistry and stuff too. The podcast is
agreed.
I like the
podcast. Dope. Which honestly is the only reason I was here in the first place, was because you need help for the podcast. So
true.
There we are.
Facts.
So next comment from last week. We talked about Wave Race. Mark Andrews says, I'm not sure if Wave Race could be a full 50 quid, 50 yank bucks game today. I know. I would like to see Mario Kart 9 or 8 DLC incorporate Wave Race into it. Could be straight up Wave Race tracks and maybe water-based Nintendo levels from Switch games. I can't think of the names right now. I teach at university and just coming off the busiest week of the year, and my brain's fried. But like the Odyssey has that one beach, which I think was the Seaside Kingdom. It had a specific name. I don't remember.
It has a dog.
It does, from Nintendogs on the 3DS. Apparently, the model's just straight there. So whatever. And the Zelda one with all the fish people. So the Zora domain, I'm guessing. The carts already turn into hovery carts, so why not change them to be a bit more floaty jet skis? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
they could do it.
I really like Wave Race 64. Never had a GameCube, but I think the N64 did sports games well. 1080 snowboarding was quality. Wasn't there also a surfing game? I think it was Kelly Slater's Surfing. But also, that might
I
not
don't
be a
think I've
person.
ever
Also,
heard of
that might not have been on my 64. Like I said, Frank's Fried Cheers.
it. What if he just like made that game up? Like that was just a game that like is in his memory. It's like one of those things that's like a
Yeah.
phenomenon. It's like, oh, I don't remember that.
Also, the Mandela effect or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Kelly Slater surfing just sounds like Kelly Kapowski and AC Slater from Saved by the Bell who got married and started surfing, and then she made this surfing game. That's 100% what it makes me think of. As for your ideas with yes, that sounds like. I mean, people have kind of talked about that in terms of like Diddy Kong
If
having.
they did that, I feel like so many people are like, give us a Sunshine remake. If they did
Yeah,
that, I mean, they're still saying it anyway.
yeah, right.
But it would just increase the amount of people saying it.
Yep. It would be, yeah. I mean, adding the jet ski and water mechanics, like that's an easy next step for them as far as Mario Kart goes.
Right.
Like they're gonna
I
have to
mean,
do Mario Kart 9 eventually.
some might have said that it was the steps that they should have did before anti-gravity,
Yep.
but they didn't. So who knows? Who knows what the
Yeah,
next step will be?
man. Even the anti-gravity thing, it's like it's more aesthetic than it is
Yeah.
really
Well,
a thing.
kind of like as far as like it being like gravity's not a thing anymore.
Right.
It's more so a mechanic that changes because of the boost situation.
Yes,
Like
that's
that
true.
changes how stuff is. Like I
Yep.
remember when they first announced that, my goal, because again, like I always come up with these stupid arbitrary goals when games come out. I'm like, yo, I want to do this at least once. I want to boost somebody else off the stage by using that mechanic. And I did
I
it.
like
And
it.
I was like, okay, I did that. And now
Done playing
I
this game forever.
never had to play this game again. So
Uh,
that's how
yep.
that worked.
There you go. So yeah, good stuff. I like all those thoughts. They are good. Eric Henley, Parker makes music. Let me get that mixtape. Yeah, I do. I put some stuff back up on Spotify that hasn't been there for forever, so you can check it out if you want. It's just under Parker Deal. That's
He's just like, I'm gonna be equally, I'm gonna laugh and then also be angry if like you do a tweet that blows up. And it's, I mean, either way, newsflash, it doesn't work like that. People don't see like, oh yeah, this Twitter, I really like this tweet, so I'm gonna like the other thing that this guy does,
Yeah.
But if
Anybody
you're like,
promoting their SoundCloud off a viral tweet, there's like 25 likes on that thing. It
yeah,
doesn't do
exactly. Nobody's gonna be like, yeah, I really like your tweet, so I'll probably like hearing you sing songs.
right.
Like I don't know about that. But if you tweet your SoundCloud instead of fanatixfour, you're fired.
No, don't worry. It would be the other way around if nothing else. Oh man alive. Yeah. So that's the thing. It's my album from 2012, this sophomore year, junior year of college. So yeah, it's been a little while. I theoretically am working on some more stuff, but just very slowly and in the background and all that. So whatever. I also had a metal band back in the day all that things. But whatever, who cares? Moving
See,
along.
the goal is that we could do the Game Grump situation where it's like right before a video, you can play, hey, I put out a new music video. It's on my other channel. Go check it out. And we link to it. And then,
I actually
and then like 3 years after that, you like go on tour and you're like, hey, I'm on tour.
So here, let me tell you this. You'd be interested to some degree too, and I've thought of Dan in this context as well. As of probably almost 2 years ago now, I had the idea because like the metal band thing from back in the day was just me and my friend James for the most part, and we had one viral kind of song. We did a metal cover of Fireflies by Owl City, and that has like, I don't know, over 1 million plays or something like that just across YouTube. So that was fun, but then just kind of stopped doing stuff some point into college. And then about 2 years ago, I had an idea for a very subtle Pokemon concept album. So it's like progressive metalcore or something like that, but it's Pokemon things. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want anybody else to steal it before I do it. So I'm not going to say what the things were, but it's based on some Pokemon fan theory type stuff that I think would be interesting and fit with metal fairly well. So
We
that
put it
might still
on
happen
the
eventually.
Discord and supporters only Discord. Or it's like, here's a preview.
There you go. Yep. I had a little bit of one song finished at some point and then just never kept going back to it. So all right, moving along. All that stuff. We're almost done. YouTube community, we ask some questions sometimes on there, answer questions on there. This was earlier where we talked about 70% of people said they were not going to buy a Switch Lite. 15-ish% said yes, and 15% said for somebody else. So Coley said everyone here probably already or pretty much already has a Switch. So that's why I'm guessing there aren't a lot of people planning to get it for themselves.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. Falcon says, yeah, it's going to be a no from me, dog. I'm content with my current Switch, not keen on playing handheld. All
Oh,
right.
snap. So he doesn't even play handheld. That's a new one.
Yep.
Makes
And
sense
then,
though, because he plays Smash Brothers a lot.
yeah, right, exactly. And for a lot of people, that's probably blasphemy. So,
But I play. You know what, Falcon? I've won several matches against you handheld. How does that make you feel, Bucko?
I am curious. Please comment down below how that makes you feel, Falcon.
I mean,
Or just
these days, like if you're
Discord,
playing
let us
against
know.
me now, chances are I'm playing you handheld.
Yep. Good stuff. And Mark Andrews, last one, unless, I mean, there might have been some more after the cutoff of where we started recording, but who's to say? Mark Andrews again. As nicely designed as they are, there's no reason for me to pick one up. I use my Switch in all three modes, probably 60% docked, 30% tabletop, and 10% handheld. The Pokemon Special one does look fantastic, though.
See, if there's any mode that I don't use at all, it's tabletop. I
Yeah.
don't use that like nearly at all. Even when it's in the sense of like take the kickstand out because the kickstand's garbage. Like that whole thing. Like
Yep.
like I said, like there will be times where I'm like on a train or whatever. At this point, because of tabletop mode, a lot
Uh-huh.
of the people that I would have been like, yeah, let's play Switch. They just have their own Switches now.
Yeah.
But like it's probably 10% tabletop in the life of my Switch.
Mm-hmm.
10% that, 45% docked, and like,
The rest handheld.
like yeah.
I think 45% the other
45,
missing
yeah,
factor.
45%
Yep.
docked. Like,
Uh,
but again, it always flips around
yep.
all over the place.
And then last but not least, Discord. You can ask us questions on Discord and we will answer them. And also just come and hang out with us and talk to us. So this is Huddy Bear. He's pretty new to our Discord. Also, just subscribe to his YouTube channel. He just started like a week ago or so. So you should go subscribe to that too. If you
Yeah,
would
I'm trying to help him become a Nintendo ambassador, just like me. And if you have a YouTube channel and you're also cool, let me know when you get to 10,000 subscribers, and I'll help Nintendo and be like, this person's cool. They like Nintendo. They know what they're talking about. Check them out.
There you go. Good stuff. So Huddy Bear asks, was the Nintendo Switch Lite a wise decision on Nintendo's part?
Yes,
Down
very,
to yes.
because it's $200.
Yep.
That's exclusive. Like when I think of the Switch and like how it's gonna like get to whatever milestone sales wise, it's gonna be a thing of like, well, once it's this price point, it'll probably be around here. Like I think the thing that got like the PlayStation 2 to where it's at is once it hit $100, it was off to the races. It was $100 in like what 2008 or something like that. And then
Mhm.
that's when everybody just bought another one or started buying them, and like it got to like, I don't know, 80-90 million or something like that around that point. And then once that hit that price point, it sold another 60.
Yeah.
So I think that that's going to be the biggest factor for Switch, other than obviously like the games. But it's just going to like become more and more valuable the longer it goes, because the price will fall and more games will accrue. So people will buy all those games for cheaper and also the hardware for cheaper. And that'll like, make the Switch more successful.
Indeed, it's going to be good. I'm just excited about all the new people that come in because I feel like it'll just be fun to see a lot of new people coming in and joining. It'll probably be a lot of kids and actually probably a lot of people that may not even really get into the community quite as much because maybe
Mhm.
they're more casual, but we'll see.
I don't
And
know. I feel like a lot of people, like when they buy hardware, there's always
yeah,
going to be a subsect of people that are like on the YouTubes and being
yeah,
like
like
Nintendo Switch, like
into
that
it.
was responsible for the first boom.
Yeah.
Like people just binging Nintendo Switch stuff
Hmm.
that like created a lot of the channels that we know as far as like their size, like Wolf Den blew up because of that.
Right.
Spawn Wave
Hmm.
blew up because of that.
Yep.
Beat 'em ups blew up because of that. Like a lot of those channels, it's because people were looking for like Switch content to watch
Yep.
before the Switch came out and near when the Switch came out, and they just binged all that stuff and they were there and ready for it when it happened.
Yep. Exactly. And then last question. This one actually wasn't on Discord, but Stryker asked me. We were just chatting about other stuff, and he was like, "Do you think Mario Maker 2 is going to be your game of the year?" And I was like, "I will have to think about that." And I was like, "I'm just going to put it on the podcast because I'm curious to
Um,
hear your thoughts as well."
Currently, I would say it's my game of the year.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't know. Pokemon exists, man.
It does.
Even though, granted, I don't think Pokemon has been my game of the year in a long time, if ever. Probably just when Heartgold came out.
Yep.
Like, Pokemon's cool and everything, but I wouldn't say it's like the best of the best. Like,
Right.
as far as like what I think of as a game of the year,
Mhm.
where it's like this is like a marquee title. Like this is a prestige piece.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say any Pokemon game really fits that
Yeah.
description.
That's honestly kind of how I feel about Mario Maker. Like, I really
How
enjoy
dare you? How dare
doing
you?
the thing. I enjoy Mario Maker too, but I think for me, like, worlds that I feel like, I don't know, it's just so different because the function of it, especially as like I'm mostly making stuff, the function of it feels more like an outlet of creativity. Like it
Yeah.
is a, but it doesn't really fit in the
Right,
same.
like, you're not really playing the game, you're making
Yeah, and
it.
I will be more and more because, like, I'm, at this point, like, I've made some of the initial first ideas that I was like, these are the ideas I'm going to make, and I've got like just very, very blank slates of about, I think, 8 more. But some of them are kind of like, I made Sabrina's gym. I'm possibly going to make some of the other gyms. So like I've got just a very basic idea of some of the other ones. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's one of those things where I think like Breath of the Wild, I was just like so entranced with that game. Last year, Hollow Knight, like I don't know if that was my game of the year specifically, but like possibly just because I felt like it was just the same kind of thing where I just felt like deep in that world. So I feel like those kinds of games, like role playing to some degree, is just what is always going to do that for me. So
I haven't
so
played that game
far,
yet. What's funny?
yeah,
So
I do
Bob,
know.
he DMs me, I don't know, what, 2 a.m. or some crap like that,
Nice.
as is the norm.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, I need footage of somebody getting like a validated." It was like a whole thing because I was like, I wasn't even thinking about like, or he wasn't, I guess, thinking
Mhm.
about the other way around, where he was like, "Yo, do you have your account on somebody else's Switch?" I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah, it's on Parker's Switch."
we should have talked
Um,
about that.
and that was like, I could put it on another Switch because I have my aunt's Switch. I could put my account on that Switch, and then get the footage. But I was like, wait, I have Parker's on mine. So like my first time that I ever opened Hollow Knight was for that reason, and I didn't even play it. I still didn't play it, but I opened it and got to the title screen and was like, all right, well.
Man, that's something I forgot. We should have talked about that in the Switch Lite part. I got to go here in a minute, but just real quick, Doug Bowser and them talked about how they're going to make it to where you can, more easily transfer between two different switches, like a Switch and a Switch Lite or whatever. Right now, some people are talking about how like it's pretty complicated, blah blah blah, and like Splatoon 2, Animal Crossing, Pokemon. Yes, since there's no cloud saves, this is just not possible. It
Right.
sucks. Pretty much every other game though, it's as long as, and again, they'll probably change it by the time the Switch Lite comes out and talk about it. But if they don't, I'll definitely make a video just explaining how to do it. But if you do what we did, pretty much just like log into your account on both, have your handheld be your primary one, and have your docked one be your secondary one, because that one's going to connect to the internet, then you can just upload and download your save cloud data. I don't know how long that takes, but I don't think very long at all. So just do
I don't
that
know. But all I
time.
know is when Fire Emblem comes out, turn your Wi-Fi off.
Yeah.
We can both play
Yeah.
that.
No, exactly. No, 100%. I'm right there with you. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So all that said, that's pretty easy to do. I haven't actually tried the whole process beside the save cloud part of it. Like the only parts that I've done is just playing games on your account and Mitch's account or whatever, just trying that out. Which I haven't done a whole ton, but it's possible. So there
Yeah,
you go.
it's something you could do. I feel like it was less useful on my end because a lot of the games that you have that I don't have are games that like I wasn't gonna play anyway
Yeah,
because
right,
they're like
exactly.
so far in the past, and I'm like old games old.
Yeah,
Like I got
exactly.
new
There's a
games
bunch
that I
of
don't
those
even
that I'm
play.
like, yeah.
But I feel like I'll get the first time I'll get use of it is Fire Emblem because
Yep.
like I was just thinking like I might buy that. I was like, wait, no, I don't have to. I don't have to do that.
That's right.
So I'll definitely have to say product provided by Nintendo for
That's
sure.
true. Yeah, that's a very good point. But yeah, there you go. But that's about it from us. What do you guys all think? Leave some comments down below in the video. We'll talk about them next week. Also, again, follow us on Twitter because we tweet fairly often.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we're just really easy to get a hold of. We're on Discord and stuff as well. And I'm still bad at being on there. AJ's being a lot better recently.
Yeah.
But
I see the thing that I did was I just leave it open. So
yeah.
like if I hear like the badoom sound,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, somebody posted in the Discord. Let me check that out.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I need to. I'm just at work most of the day, so sucks. But there you go. I mean, I like my job. It's fine. That's about it from us. Thank you guys so much for checking out the podcast, watching
like,
videos.
comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Say, hey, friend, you like podcasts? Here's podcasts. Listen to two friends talk about podcasts. We don't talk about podcasts, but we make one.
That's right. We talk
Goodbye.
about podcasts a little bit. There's a
Yeah,
little talk.
we talk about
Talk.
Walk In Live. That's probably like the only podcast we talk about consistently.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
true.
oh, Bob will do
Mhm.
something. Goodbye.